Milk for Health presents the Western New York Youth in Ag Bonanza, live to you at home, where youth from the 8 counties of Western New York will compete in livestock judging and showmanship in various categories. Live from the Showplex on the Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York, Milk for Health presents the Western New York Youth in Ag Bonanza.
Hello, everybody. I'm John DeSciullo, and welcome to the Showplex. We are here in Hamburg, New York, and I'm from WBBZ TV, and I'm here with Larry Brown, and Larry's a board member of the Chautauqua County Fair, and also an expert guest because, you know, if you could say anything, I'm sort of like Regis Philbin. I'm the city guy that's here, and I'm going to learn everything about all of the animals that are going to be shown today at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza, and we're happy to be able to bring this to you, Larry. We're live streaming right now on a platform called Ustream and on the WBBZ.TV site. And what are we looking at here, Larry, as we get ready to go?
Well, we're all excited to be here today. Kids have worked all year to show their animals, and with COVID, everything's been shut down. But thankfully, the Erie County Fair Association has worked with the Erie County Health Department and allowed this event to happen. So our first class this morning, we have the peewees, we call them, the kids that are just a little bit too young to be in 4-H. So these kids may have older brothers or sisters in 4-H and have worked around the home farm and are excited to bring these young calves out and show them today. And the kids today here range in age from 4 to 8, so they're getting lined up here on the ring side, and they're ready to start the show, so it's going to be a good day.
It's going to be a good day, and you know, I have my bandana on, mask, and my hat. You know, it's Western Day here, so you have to fill the part. And you have your mask on, and at some point we may take our masks down just so you can hear us a little bit better. But we wanted to make you know, aware that everybody here at the Erie County Fairgrounds are following all of these very strict COVID restrictions. Even the children and those who are exhibiting have their masks on, and all of the distancing is in place. This is a non-spectator event, so you won't see people in the stands because they're not allowed to come, unfortunately.
Exactly, John, and I know, especially the grandparents, you feel bad for them because that's one thing they enjoy, to see their kids show in the ring, and they get a big smile on their face when the kid gets a ribbon. But unfortunately, with the regulations nowadays and COVID, we just have to get through this and make the best of it. And they can watch from home, and we'll have a good day, and the kids will go home and tell all the stories and the trophies that they win. So.
Yep, and I know that this is a major moment for these young people, particularly this year with everything that has been going on. So this is the only event that's really going to be happening at the fairgrounds pretty much as we move forward through the summer. We will have a Blast Out Hunger event next Saturday that we'll tell you about. And if you're watching on Ustream or WBBZ.TV, you're watching us here on Friday morning.
Good morning and welcome to the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza Dairy Cattle Show. We will be getting started with our showmanship this morning. First in the ring will be the Pee Wee division. Before we get started, if I can have you all please rise for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rugged red glare, the
That was beautiful, Larry. Just a beautiful rendition.
Well, once again, good morning and welcome to the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. This morning we will be getting started with our dairy cattle show, starting with our showmanship divisions. First class in the ring will be our Pee Wee showmen. These showmen are ages 8 and under. Your judge today is Mr. Pat Lundy of Hartford, New York.
And that's Kirby Dygert, and Kirby's the announcer here in the Showplex. And Kirby is a longtime member here at the fair.
Class 1 Pee Wee showmen will be Julia Britton, Bentley Foster, Garrett Hill, Chloe Lamb, Peyton Britton, Tyler Kroll, Kendall Herman, Elijah Richmond, and Luke Often.
So, Larry, tell us what we're going to be looking at now as the young people bring their animals out into the show.
Well, John, the judge looks for the overall conformation of the animals. Look at the growth, the size and the shape of the body, the foot structure, leg, how well they walk. And that's because they like animals that walk well when they're young and good feet and legs. They got to be sound in that area because as they get older, the weight of the animal needs to be carried feet and leg is really important. And the size and capacity will result in more milk production in the end. So how well it's grown out and the correctness of the feet and legs.
The young people that are with them, the Pee-wees, this is an amazing relationship that they have with the animal.
Right, John. You can tell they've used these animals at home. They've walked them and they've trained them and not only clipped and washed them and trim their feet and everything manicure that you can think of, but they also have to spend hours and hours breaking them the lead and teaching them to walk just right so they are representative in the ring.
Well, I know that this is a discipline that these children are learning at a young age because, as I've learned in my research, these animals have to be cared for day in and day out on a regimented schedule.
Right. Just like on any farm, they're cared for every day. They're fed and cleaned and they're trained, and as long as the kids, and these kids enjoy doing it, and that's what they grew up with. And thankfully, we have these dedication of these kids to further our food production in the future.
And how old are the animals, by and large, that they're showing?
Most of these are born in the spring or middle of winter, this class.
And with the young people today, it seems like they have them right by, in a very uniform way, right? How are they holding them is where I'm going with that one.
Well, they have the halter is around their head and their nose, and so they keep a tight strap on them with a lead strap to keep control of the animal.
Now, are these individuals with family farms that are working in the dairy industry? How is the animal connected, by and large, to the family?
Yeah, most of these kids in here that I see do come from a family farm. There are a few that have these animals at a neighboring farm because their own family do not have a farm, but it works out great to give these kids something to do, basically so they're not playing so many video games.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about it is they're learning, as I said, these disciplines, and they're dressed for the occasion. This is a very major piece for them as they grow up. And where do they go from here? So these Pee-wees are showing off, and what will they win if they're judged in their categories?
Well, they have a variety of prizes. They all have ribbons, and some of the bigger classes will have trophies and other awards.
I've noticed in my research that the way the animals are fed is very specific. It's in my, I'm an urban cowboy, so I'm just thinking a cow goes out on the grass and goes to graze, but there are some specific diets and animal feeds that these children are feeding these animals.
Yeah, they try to feed them a little bit more protein in their diet, which makes a more structural development and also a slicker hair coat. It's just easier to fit that way, and it grows the animal better too with a little bit more protein.
So I see the judge now is out there talking with one of the contestants. What is the judge saying? I mean, we're not going to listen in, but by and large, is it a coaching to help them along?
He might be asking what date the calf is born. He may ask where he came from or things like that. Usually it's the birth date what he asks.
And we're listening to some music that is age appropriate because this is by and large still a show in the Showplex, and so we're having a lot of fun as we watch this. And Kirby, as we mentioned, is out on the stage and is watching all of this, and Kirby's been in this for a long, long time, the Dygert family as well.
Oh, exactly. I know her grandfather was a vet, and he was on the fair board many, many years ago, so she grew up here as well, and she's kind of the show master of the ring here today. She runs the show. All the animals have to have an official entry. They have to have a placing, and it all has to be written down in a master copy, and her and her team, they do a great job taking care of that.
They do, and so I mentioned Kirby because as we move forward, if we're interrupted by any reason, that's with Kirby to tell us what's coming up. And Kirby has a lot of team members. I see Paula here, and of course Holly Smichinsky from the fair, and of course Jessica Underberg, who is the CEO of the fair. And this was her brainchild to put together this Youth and Ag Bonanza.
Yeah, Jessica grew up here showing steers and came from the family farm in North Collins Center. And she grew up here showing and took a summer job here and really enjoyed it. So she continued on and as the event coordinator in competitive events and worked her way up through. And now she's the CEO of the fairgrounds. It's really a great job.
And a great culture that she's developing here. We're going around now and we're seeing how the peewees, the contestants, and their animals are staged. And there is a little bit of social distancing, not just because of the current conditions, but because that's how the animals should be presented, right, Larry?
Correct. They entered the ring in alphabetical order of the exhibitor, and they're just parading their animals around the ring at this time so the judge can evaluate each one and ask them a few basic questions. And after he does all the animals, he will start lining them up and placing them.
This will be the first call for Class 1 in our Junior Showman division. First call, Class 1, Junior Showman. Please make your way to ringside.
So with Kirby announcing that, what does that mean, Larry, with what we're looking at?
Well, she just made an announcement for the next class to be on deck. That way, when this class is placed and they exit the ring, the next class will be right here on deck and able to come right in the ring to speed up the show a little bit more.
Now, I notice these animals they're pretty docile, but what would...
Well, they're just
But I heard they sometimes have some attitude, too.
Well, they can, like any other animal, but they're used to being led around the ring, and so they're just at home going for a little walk this morning, and I'm sure after the show they'll probably get a little treat when they get back to the stall.
So what treats would they like?
Oh, they maybe get an extra scoop of grain or maybe some apples or something. So they know they've been through this before.
Yeah. Now, the young people who are here at the Showplex are from the 8 counties of Western New York, and the 8 counties of Western New York have been invited to come here. And while we take a look at this, Larry, I do want to mention we have some sponsors, Tops Markets, Evans Bank, Milk for Health, Tractor Supply, Clyde's Animal and Feed, and we have some others that have joined us who are making this presentation possible for us to watch on Ustream and WBBZ.TV. So I'm going to take a short minute break, and we're going to meet some of those who helped make this possible.
Okay, great.
On behalf of all your Western New York dairy farmers, we assure you that our job has not changed. We are still caring for our animals as we do every day, and we are still producing a clean and healthy product that you can feel safe serving to your families. All the dairy products that reach your table are also on our own family table, never touched by human hands, and from the farm to the grocery store within 48 hours, 365 days a year, through calm or chaos. We promise.
Hello, I'm Ross Salvatore, wishing all the youth competing in the Ag Bonanza good luck. I'm sorry I can't be with you in Hamburg. Remember, hard work and good showmanship pays off. I hope to see you and your families soon at Russell's Steaks, Chops, and more.
We are back at the Showplex. Thank you, Russell Salvatore from Russell Steaks, Chops, and More, helping us out, along with Clyde's Feed. You'll get a chance to hear from those sponsors as we go through. And Larry Brown is with me, and Larry is from the Chautauqua County Fair, and you've had a long history in fairs and shows. And during the break, we were just saying, you're watching now what's happening with the children. What is the judge looking for at this point? Now that they've walked the animals around, what is next?
Well, he's making his final decision here, and he's giving one last look, and pretty soon he'll come over and take the mic, and he'll give his thoughts on the animals.
Now, the contestants here in the dairy cattle showmanship in this Pee Wee division, these are children who are 4 to 8 years old. So this is a formative time for them, and they're learning so much. And I'll list the contestants. You heard them from Kirby early on. Jalea Britton from Lawtons, New York. Bentley Foster from Friendship. Garrett Hill is from Cattaraugus. Chloe and Claire Lamb from Oakfield. And you mentioned the Lamb family, Larry, is very vested in the dairy business.
That's right, John. They're originally from Oakfield, their main farm, and they've bought several other farms, and they've expanded, and they've done really well in a predominant breeder in the Holstein industry. And I guess this is the third or fourth generation, Chloe and Claire, that are here today and have a real nice pair of calves.
Well, and that's amazing because they've been in this business such a long time, and a business that's changing. We were talking earlier about the dairy business. It isn't the same as it was before.
No, it's not. It used to be the smaller farm that Grandpa had and milked by hand, and it evolved and progressed with time, and it gotten larger over the years. With electric, we were able to have electric milking equipment and coolers, and that really progressed the business and expansion. When science technology has led to bigger and bigger farms, and it's more efficient, and their food price in the stores have remained the same, or actually sometimes have decreased. So we've all benefited from it.
Well, the dairy business is still very, very important in West New York. The other contestants, we'll finish out the list here. Peyton Britton of Lawtons, New York. Tyler Crowell from South Dayton. Kendall Herman, also from South Dayton. And Elijah Richmond from North Collins. So those are the individuals who we're looking at. And I have to imagine the children do get a little nervous. They all have their masks on, so that's an added effort that they have to handle today.
Yeah, they haven't been in a show ring, and they're only between 4 and 8 years old, and so I'm sure they're a little nervous. And with the COVID pandemic, it just adds a little bit more tension. But I think they're all doing a great job.
Well, one of the things about this, and you're going to see it as we go through the day, and we're going to be live on Ustream all day. And the Ustream feed is available on the WBBZ.TV page, and it's available through the fair at the West New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. So tell your friends, share it on your own Facebook page, share it on your own personal sites if you would like to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. So now they're lining up, and the animals are pretty well behaved, I would say, Larry.
Yep, he's got them lined up. He's talking to the exhibitors and explaining on what he saw and how he evaluated his animals, and he'll tell each exhibitor that, and at the end he'll come over and take the mic and explain to the rest of us how he placed the class.
We should mention too that these young people are living in their farm and they're in their world, but they have other things that they're very interested in, like some of the contestants are interested in dance, hockey, and gymnastics. So they're living a life.
This will be the final call for Class 1 Junior Showman. Please make your way to ringside. We are looking for Ashton Wilcox. Ashton Wilcox, we are looking for you at ringside. We are finalizing our Pee Wee Showmanship class here this morning at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza.
So we're just saying that they're living their life. I mean, Peyton Britton, she says here in her notes, she likes raising animals, but also likes hockey.
Yeah, they all got other interests, just like anybody else.
And these young people are learning life skills, and I would think, like you mentioned, generationally, they continue on with that family farm in addition to maybe some of their other interests.
Yeah, I'm sure as they get older, there's excitement on the farm. There's always stuff to do, work with your animals, drive tractors, and that kind of things. I know when I was a kid, we always looked forward, like if the veterinary came or a salesman or something, just to visit with somebody from outside, because we didn't leave the farm too often. But it was a great life, and I'm sure these kids are learning that too. So hopefully,
these Pee Wee showmen a big round of applause. Tremendous showman all the way down the line.
There's our judge, Pat Lundy from Hartford, New
For
York.
this first class of the day, a lot of shows I judge in the novice or Pee-wee showman. I try not to place any of them. They told me I should at least place the top 2, so that's what I did here. My top 2 pair I placed, and the rest of just came in line as they were. Taking nothing away from the 6 calves here that weren't in the top 2. A tremendous showman, a bright future for all of them. You get a little nitpicking here when you get to showmanship class, and my first over second was a close placing for me, but easy first and second, I thought. The first place young lady, a calf that just always moved with her beautifully, so smooth on the halter, and I really preferred her head carriage over this young man in second. Second place, another calf that led beautifully for him, a calf that always had her feet lined up beautifully here in line and outside the ring, but a tremendous group of calves all the way down the line. Congratulations.
Thank you, Pat. Pat Lundy, our judge.
Congratulations in our Class 1 Pee-wee Showman. First place will go to Claire Lamb and second place to Luke Often. Once again, congratulations to all of those showmen. At this time, we'll be looking to get started with Class 1 of our junior division.
And as we get changed
in the junior showman this morning, we will have 4 breaks. In Class 1, we'll be looking for Ashton Wilcox, Heather Woodis, Natalie Burrows, Blake Hill, Leslie Mesh, Morgan Holcomb, Addison Keberly, and Jillian Brewer.
And as we get ready for the next class, as they're getting ready for ringside, we're going to take another short break, and we'll be back with more from the Showplex here in the Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York.
Consists of showmen ages 9
Milk and cheese and yogurt make me sing every day, 'cause milk is amazing. Drink milk to grow up with strong bones. 3 times a day, vitamin D and calcium. So drink it with chocolate, put it on your pizza. How about berries? It's always a treat. Milk is amazing.
The Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York. One of the Northeast's premier agriculture and entertainment destinations. Home to the Erie County Fair, the Fairgrounds Event Center, Buffalo Raceway, Hamburg Gaming, and host to nationally recognized livestock, ag industry shows, and award-winning ag education programs. Annually, the state-of-the-art Agriculture Discovery Center and Showplex buildings attract thousands of participants and their livestock for events like the Empire State Beef Classic, the Spring Dairy Preview, and the National Junior Swine Association Eastern Regional Hog Show. Located near Buffalo and the U.S.-Canadian border, the Erie County Fairgrounds is a convenient drive from points across the East. Where competitors and champions grow, we'll see you soon at the Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York.
Welcome back to the Showplex here in Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York. John DeShula with you, the Urban Cowboy. But I'm here with my good friend Larry Brown. And Larry, the animals have now come in for the next classification, and this is a whole different way of presenting. And what are they looking for in this presentation?
Right. This next classes are showmanship classes, and what the judge is looking for to see how well the exhibitor has prepared the animal for the show ring, how well they've been clipped, how well they've been washed, and how well they lead and respond to the exhibitor on the show hall there. So he's not just judging the animal alone, he's also judging the way it's prepared and the way it's presented itself in the ring.
Kirby has not made the announcement yet of all the names of those who are here. I will wait for her to do that. But the age classification here is a little older. It's 9 to 12 years old. So the expectations would be a little bit higher, I would think.
Right. These are a little bit older kids. These are the ones that are just starting in the 4-H. So there can be a little bit higher standards here.
And the 4-H and the ag is really the basis of the Erie County Fair going back into the 1800s. And that's really what we're able to see here through our Ustream feed, which we really appreciate you watching on WBBZ.TV and other platforms on Ustream. But this is what the fair is all about, Larry. Oh, here comes Kirby.
Junior showmen, please make your way to ringside. We'd like to also remind everyone that we do require that you wear masks if you're here on grounds.
very strict about that, obviously, with everything going
Right,
on.
it's very important.
But the ag is really the basis of the fair, and the animals that we're seeing in the showplex. This building, you run, you're a part of the board of the Chautauqua County Fair. You don't see buildings like this.
No, we don't. We're fortunate to have these facilities right here in our own backyard to use them really year-round. They have events planned here, so it's not just 1 week out of the summer. They have events here all year long, and it's really great to have these nice facilities here to use.
We are happy to make sure that we're very happy to bring you all of these different competitors. And instead of waiting for Kirby, I'm just going to read right out of the book here.
Sure.
Okay, Larry, how about that? We have Ashton Wilcox from Varysburg, New York. Heather Woodis from DeWittville. Natalie Burrows from Friendship, New York. Blake Hill from Cattaraugus. Leslie Mesh from Collins. Morgan Holcomb from Friendship. Addison Keberly from Elba. And Jillian Brewer from Oakfield. And you said at some point now there's going to be a break, and then the names that are on the bottom of this page that I have in front of me, those would be in the next group.
Correct. There's going to be several heats of these kids in showmanship, so this is where they made the break for the first heat. So I believe they're all in the ring, and the judge is evaluating them at this time.
What are the ages of the animals that we're looking at?
Most of these animals are anywhere from 3 to 9 months old here in these next couple of classes.
Doing my research, I'm finding it interesting, and those who might be watching on Ustream, because you haven't had anything else to do with the fair this year except watch this, now they're getting a chance to see these animals. It's very interesting. I read, they drink 40 gallons of water a day.
Yeah, a high-producing dairy cattle, she's like a high-performance car, not just the average car you see on the street. And they produce a lot of milk, and they can produce, anywhere from 8 to 10 gallons of milk a day, so they have to replenish their system with all the water. So, yeah, a high-producing dairy cattle can drink as much as 40 to 50 gallons a day per cow.
And when it comes to the milking and the dairy part of the cow, there are certain things about the cow, certainly the udders where the milk comes from, but there are certain times of the day and night where the bagging I'm learning about is very important.
Right. Normally at home they milk twice, or most do milk 3 times a day now because they give so much more milk. But at the show, you want the udder to be full of milk during the show. So you have to calculate ahead of time what time of the day your cow is going to go in the show ring, and then you have to back up 8 to 12 hours previously and milk them so they'll be full of milk when they come into the show ring. So there's a lot of calculation to it.
So some of these animals will be milked after the show.
Oh, definitely, John. As soon as they're done showing here, they leave the show ring, they'll go right to the milking part. They'll be milked out.
And we talked about the milking part, electronic on some measure because of the way technology has changed, to get more production.
Yes, it's monitoring how much milk they give. They monitor how quick they milk them, the time of day, and several other components are all factored into that to be able to evaluate how do they make it better, how do they make a cow give more, how do they make it more comfortable. And there's a lot of science technology that people don't understand to get that gallon of milk to the grocery store.
And that's one of the things that these young people are learning, all of those disciplines, so that, as you said, they're not on video games. They're working with their animal to make sure that those animals are delivering for them. I'm going to look up some of the information here on some of our contestants so that we can get a handle on who some of them are. I want to, of course, thank our sponsors and thank all of the people from WBBZ TV who've helped make this happen. Our team behind the scenes with Joe Malucci and Chris Musial. Here's Natalie Burrows from Friendship. She's here in an entry. She's from the Cuba, New York area in Allegheny. She's got a Jersey senior calf, and she's been competing since she was 5, it looks like, and she's a big softball fan as well. So we hope that she's as successful on the softball field as she is here in the showplex here today, and she's also a member of the 4-H. So we wish Natalie good luck, and all of our contestants here. I'm looking at some of the information that was supplied to us so we can give you a little bit of background. And right now they've stopped. And what is the judge looking at here now, Larry?
The judge is evaluating each exhibitor and how they set their animals up, which means when they're standing still, how they place their feet and how the animal looks. If they're standing square, they're standing straight line, and he's completed that, and now he's going to circle the animals again in the ring here to take another look at them.
Now, when you say look at the feet, in the terms of how the feet are aligned, how they are clean, how they rest on them, what would that be?
Well, it'd be all of that in showmanship. You look how the animal walks on the feet, but also in showmanship, he looks to see how clean they are, and they also have to trim their feet, just like you would trimming your toenails or your fingernails. So there's a lot to it in showmanship.
And again, there's one animal on the show ring, maybe a little attitude. What might make an animal just get a little out of sorts?
Well,
it could be the music even.
Could be the music. They could be nervous too. It could be just hot and they're just not having the best day, and it could have been maybe they ate too much this morning and just don't feel like participating today. They just want to go lay down under the shade tree.
It happens, Larry. You know what I mean?
It happens to all of us. Not just we're animals too. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Even though we're humans, we're part of the animal kingdom. So it's with all animals.
Well, the temperature is pretty moderate here today, and there's a nice breeze, and the showplex has all of the doors open. You see the sunshine outside. And we're in Hamburg, New York, so if you're watching us from across the country, Hamburg, New York is home to the Erie County Fairgrounds. Not happening this year because of the COVID restrictions, but this is a unique event, spectator-free, but the families are available, and they're watching from a distance, off to the side. Even they're distanced as well.
The immediate family.
The immediate family, that's right. So we'll look at another contestant here, Blake Hill from Cattaraugus. The animal's showing a brown Swiss dairy steer, a brown Swiss calf. And they've been in the livestock showing for several years. And Blake helps the family on the farm, raising chickens as well. And he likes baseball, and he's been a novice showman and a champion in some previous shows. So do these contestants go to other shows besides the Erie County Fair?
I'm sure a lot of them do.
Do you have shows at the Cattaraugus County, Stock County Fair?
Yes. We do during Fair Week. We have several shows. And I'm sure the Hills, I know them personally, and they do travel a lot of the major shows, both regional and national shows. So he's been born and raised in the show circuit.
We're going to take a short break as the judge, Pat Lundy, takes a look at what's going on. We're going to be continuing our presentation live all day here on Ustream and whatever platform you're watching on, presented by WBBZ. We'll be right back right after this.
Strong bones, healthy bodies, tastes great. Milk with chocolate, yogurt, cheese.
Make me healthy, stronger, please.
Milk times 3 is good for me. Milk times 3 is good for me. Milk times 3 is good for me.
Want the best for your pets? Decide on Clyde's. Most people think their best deal is with online retailers, but I'm always getting the best price at Clyde's Feed and Animal Center. Shop ClydesFeed.com for convenient 1 to 3 day shipping to your doorstep. They've got a great selection of food for every pet, from dogs and cats to horses and chickens, wild birds, and everything in between. You'll find more than food. Shop toys, treats, flea and tick treatment, grooming supplies, vitamins, supplements, and more at Clyde's Feed and ClydesFeed.com.
We are back, and Kirby made mention during the break that
Next
Levi...
in the ring, we'll look for Class 2 of our junior showmanship division. We'll be looking for Dane Yancey, Loriana Mesh, Gavin Carpenter, Chloe Lamb, Ashton Wilcox, Brielle Kroll,
Kirby mentioned Levi Wilcox, Morgan Holcomb, and Julian Brewer are 3 that were recognized in this first division.
Right, John. They pulled them out to compete for the next round because there's a few more heats to come here. Then they'll bring them back in with all the other ones that he selected from the next classes for the grand champion of this age division. So
now we're going to bring in the second
group.
Part of this, the second group. And I'll announce some of those names. And if Kirby does, then you'll hear it from Kirby as well. Dane.
Just a note to all exhibitors in showmanship divisions that have more than one class. What we will be doing in these classes is our judge will be evaluating you and talking to you individually. Then we will announce who is going to come back to compete for our grand drive in those respective age divisions.
So we're looking now for Dane Jancy from Clymer, Lorena Mesh from Collins, New York, Gavin Carpenter from Attica, Chloe and Claire Lamb are back again.
Yes.
Then Levi Wilcox, Brielle Crowell, and there's Levi Wilcox again. He's listed twice. Is there a reason for that, Larry? Or
I'm not sure if he has two animals or if he has a friend that has this showing one.
Maybe. And this is in the 9 to 12-year-old category. And the judge looking for these young people, the same things in the animals that they were looking in the last group that we just saw.
Correct. How well they're fitted, how well they lead, how well they walk.
So the young people must practice, I would think, with the animal, right, on their farm and walk them?
Sure, they'll take them at home. They'll put the halter on them, and they'll take them out, and they'll wash and clip them, and then they'll walk them around the yard. And as they get better and more relaxed, they'll walk on the side of the road to get them used to traffic and other noises, and that's why most of them are quite cooperative here today.
And it does take a lot to transport an animal like this. This is not like the dog jumps in the car and away we go. This is a trailer that's needed. And
right. I mean, even before that, and the public has to understand these animals have to be checked by a veterinarian, make sure they have all their vaccines and shots, and he has to come to the farm and visually inspect every animal and have a certificate of health before they leave the farm in order to come to a show. And when they get to the fairgrounds, they have to be checked again by the veterinarian on the fairgrounds, an unbiased state veterinarian, and make sure they have all their paperwork before they even get here. And it's a lot more to it than just throwing them on a trailer and bring them down with a bale of hay for the week.
So what does the vet look for? What would an animal like that, what would prohibit an animal like that from being in the show?
Well, they have to have all their vaccination shots, as I mentioned, but they also have to have some other tests to make sure they're not carriers of any diseases, and things like ringworm or any moles or contagious diseases on the hide. Just general illness. If they're sick and have pneumonia or something like that, they're not allowed to come to the fairgrounds.
These animals weigh about 80 to 90 pounds?
No, these are quite a bit more than that.
More than that?
Some of these animals, they have more mature cows. You know, they're 12 to 1,500 pounds. Some of these younger animals are probably 300 or 400 pounds.
When the children that are here, as they move along, and they're not giving them treats while we're in the show. If they do that, that would come afterward.
Right.
So there's no incentive right now.
No.
They're just following along. We'll take a look at some of the other contestants who are here, and I'll take a look in my book that Holly Smaczynski gave me, and I'll take a look and see if I can give you some more information on some of the contestants here that we're looking at here at the fairgrounds in the Showplex.
John, I do know that young man here with the Asher cow, Dana Yancey, his sister and himself show at our fair, and she is aged out and going on to college and got her bachelor's degree, and now she's studying for a PhD in animal genetics, dairy cattle genetics.
Well, that's terrific.
It's an amazing the technology with in vitro and embryo transplants, and it's really developed her career and her vision and passion for the industry to go on and to earn her PhD. She's working on it right now. So,
well, I would think that obviously is generated by the interest that she had when she started to work with her animals early on.
Oh, I'm sure as growing up, you know, she enjoyed working with the cattle, and they've showed at our fair for many, many years, and she's gone on and furthered her career.
You see a lot of families, like brothers and sisters and siblings who are here together too, like the Mesh family from Collins. You know, they're working with their animals, and there are several from the families that are here competing.
You see the same name in most every class. The brothers and sisters or cousins. Because as the farms grow, a lot of times the farm family have grown also, and this is what all the kids get together. It gives them quality time together off the farm, and they work together in the barns, taking care of their animals. And
so we hope there's no
cleaning.
sibling rivalry going on.
Well, there might be a little bit. I'm just speaking a little bit from experience, I guess. But it's all good in the end, and they're having a great day.
How many years have you been with the Chautauqua County Fair?
Oh, I kind of grew up there as well as here at the Erie County Fair. I guess I was exhibiting when I was 6 or 7 years old, and all the way through 4-H till I was 18. And then a few years after that, I was asked to come on board on the fair board as a director and director of agriculture, which I was probably about 20 years, and I've since semi-retired, tried to semi-retire anyways, but it's in your blood. You never really get over it and walk away. You grew up there. I know my mother, she grew up here at Erie County Fair, and they started the Ag History Building there a few years ago, the history of the fair, and they have pictures of, and actually she was pulled, one of her pictures was on the wall when she was 14 or 15 years old, as a grand champion Guernsey, which she did not know was on the wall till I picked it out, and so we have a good laugh over that.
Now, you mentioned Guernsey, and I heard you mention Ayrshire as a breed. Tell us about the different breeds that we're looking at.
Well, there's several different breeds, and that's the neat thing with showmanship. They all show together. You see the young man here with the Ayrshire cow, and then behind him is a lineback, which is kind of a different looking breed.
Right.
And
Brown
then
Swiss.
The jerseys, and I don't see a brown Swiss. There was in last class, there was a brown Swiss.
Milking Shorthorns. These are just some of the breeds.
I don't see any of them. And then Holstein is the predominant one.
Yeah.
Of course, but it's kind of neat. These kids bring them out, and they're all different breeds, and they all compete together to see who can fit and clip and show their animals the best.
Andy's showing us some of the different breeds and what they look like.
That's the Milk and Shorthorns for sure.
And all of these animals that you see, now we're getting to learn, like myself included, the Guernsey. I mean, we've all seen a brown and white cow.
Right.
But now we'll know the breed of it. There's my favorite, the Ayrshire.
They're the reddish ones.
Yeah, red and white sometimes, right? Yeah.
Well, that's where people can get confused, and it's easy because Holstein is predominantly black hair coat gene.
There's Jersey and brown Swiss.
The recessive gene for Holstein is red, so you do have red and white Holsteins. So it can be a little confusing.
And the breeding and the types of animals go back generations as well.
Yes, hundreds of years. They're purebred cattle. So at times they do crossbreed, but not too often.
An Ayrshire
They do at times,
has
but
a thing for somebody who's a Guernsey. You never know.
Right. It's not really popular. Most people are purebred in whatever breed they choose.
Does that make a difference in how the animal is handled, the breed of the animal, based on the temperament and the size?
Not really. The breed has more to do with the components, and by that what I mean is the milk. Some cows give more butter fat and protein in the milk. Some breeds naturally do. But over the breeding and selection over the last hundreds of years, it's kind of all came out the same. But I know Jerseys have always been a little bit more butter fat, which is cream, and protein in their milk, which benefits more butter and cheese yield on their milk. So that's been the favoritism there. But overall, I think with the breeding and selection over the years, it's all kind of balanced out, in my opinion.
Well, we're going to take a short break as the animals and the contestants come back into the ring. We are live from the Showplex. We're streaming this feed from WBBZ TV in Western New York if you're watching from across the country, and we're in Hamburg to be specific. And we're going to continue with the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza right after this short break. Just a minute. We'll be back.
Imagine a world without milk. It would be a tragic, tasteless existence. After all, with no cheese, how would anyone know when to smile? With no milk, why would anyone want to? But there is hope. Your Western New York dairy farmers are committed to providing the most wholesome, delicious milk products possible, returning smiles to tables and order in the universe.
So, everyone's okay with a cow in the house?
Milk for Health. The guys with the cows.
Saturday night is movie night on WBBZ TV. The fun starts at 6 p.m. with The Three Stooges. Then at 8, Svengoolie screens the classics.
Kerwin.
And later at midnight, Buffalo Beatniks, Zelda, Bird, and Theo serve up hot coffee and cool movies on Offbeat Cinema.
Keep watching the skies. Keep watching.
And keep watching WBBZ TV, your hometown MeTV station. Channel 67.1 on air and DirecTV, Channel 5 on cable, Fios, and Dish. Milk for Health bringing you the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza, our main sponsor. What are we looking at now, Larry Brown?
Well, the judges made his final selections here in heat number 2 of the showmanship, and he's explained to the exhibitors just what he saw and what he thinks they could do better, and pretty soon he's going to come and make his announcements.
It looks like one animal had maybe just
sometimes
a little issue lining
might
up
get,
there.
Yeah, they may get out of place.
In our second heat of junior showmen coming back to compete will be Chloe Lamb and Addison Shawley. Once again, congratulations to all those exhibitors. If you can please put your hands together for them. Next in the ring will be our third heat of junior showmen. We'll be looking for Olivia Shawley, Caden Herman, Carly Ward, Wesley Richmond.
We're going to meet Kirby in just a little bit.
And Brooklyn Zielinski. Class 4. Junior showmen, please make your way to ringside. This will also be the first call for all of those that were called back from their individual heats to compete for champion and reserve champion junior showmen.
So with that, Larry, I'm looking at my guide. We are in this category, Class 3,
right,
for the livestock. And some of the contestants who we saw in the last presentation will come back for this. In addition to these names?
Well, this is the third heat, so we're still in the same class.
Okay.
But there'll be 4 heats altogether, and we're in a third.
I see.
Then he'll bring all the ones that he pulled out.
So the names that one of the names that Kirby just mentioned will come back later on.
Correct.
I see.
He pulled 2 out in that last heat to come back for the final round. So this is the third heat, and we'll see how he places these and how many he pulls out to come back for the championship round.
So in our Class 3 in the third heat, we'll go through some of the contestants here. Olivia Shawley from Randolph, Luke Offen from Leroy, Caden Herman from South Dayton, Carly Ward, also from South Dayton, Wesley Richmond from North Collins, Zielinski Brooklyn, or Brooklyn Zielinski, it doesn't say where they're from, and Ashton Wilcox from Varysburg. You really do see the beautiful coat on the animal.
Right.
You know, the colors really do pop.
That's from the feed and also from clipping and washing them, and they really get the hair coat slicked down and shined up. It really stands out in a show ring.
Is an animal like this washed every day?
Typically not at home, but they are here at the show on the fairgrounds. Typically every morning, they'll do chores. They'll not only just feed and clean and fresh bedding, but they'll take them out, and of course the cows will be milked, and they'll get washed, and the heifers too will be washed and put back in the stall with fresh bedding for the day.
And that's very important. They have to keep that stall. I mean, let's call it for what it is. We're walking around with some shovels right now, and maybe the mud you see is not always mud.
Well,
so you want to make sure that it's as clean as it can be.
As before, we are all animals, and that's part of the process.
Yeah.
So, but it's also for the health of the animal. You want to keep that hair coat clean and fresh and shiny and slicked down, and it's easier to clip in a clean hair coat, and it certainly does look a lot better to the fairgoers, but it also really makes them stand out in the show ring.
And I've noticed not only is it all ages, but there seems to be an equal amount of young women to young men. The young boys are here with the young ladies, and it's across all lines, all genders.
Yeah, I mean, genetics is 50-50, boys and girls. So you see about 50-50 here, and they're like we've talked earlier. They grew up on a family farm, and they enjoy doing that as a hobby, and they're here today, and they're all dressed up and and with their best whites on, and show haulers, and their animals are all shined up, and this is the big show for them for the summer.
And it's been, all, like we said, all through their life. I mean, Ashton Wilcox mentions in his exhibitor form that he's been showing since he could walk. So I think that would be a fun thing. And he's a junior champion, grand champion, and supreme champion, and an All-American, which now where would he have gotten that here in Western New York, or maybe at another show?
Well, an All-American was probably at Harrisburg. That's the All-American show, but at the end of the show season, there's a committee that picks out a few animals across the United States and it gives them the title of All-American. So it's quite an accomplishment, and not many exhibitors reach that level, but it's a pretty intense, and that's a great goal to reach that.
Well, I'd heard that this is going to be the location for a major show in October.
Right, they're planning on that right now, and that's why we're diligent about masks and personal distancing and all that to fulfill all these requirements to show the health department authorities that it can be done safely and correctly, so that they can have a bigger time show in the fall in October.
And we are making sure that everybody is wearing their mask, the spectators in the stands, those who are showing out in the showplex as you see them. They're all doing what they need to do to make sure that everything is COVID compliant here today at the showplex. So as they stand and the animal is not moving right now, is the judge looking at, like you had mentioned, the feet and the coat, and they're going animal to animal to
right.
judge?
Yeah, he'll get up close. Even showmanship, he'll even look inside their ears to make sure their ears are clean, make sure their nose are clean, and every little other spot that he can see to make sure he can pick the best fit animal out there.
So talk to me a little bit about the judge. Have you met Pat before?
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit earlier this morning. He's from Hartfield, New York, Hartford, I should say. Him and his family run Lundcrest Farms LLC with his wife Sadie. They milk about 200 cows, and he's been fortunately over the years. They've bred 5 All-Americans, which is a great accomplishment to have 5 voted the best in the United States of All-Americans.
This will be the final call for Class 4 in our junior showman this morning. Class 4 junior showman, make your way to ringside.
And Pat was also explaining over the years, he was a fitter for 8 years before he returned home full time, which means he would go from a fair to a fair or show to show, and he would professionally fit dairy cattle. He would clip them, he would trim them, he would get them all ready for the show. And that was his profession for 8 years, and that's something he really enjoyed and got to travel. And
what does that mean when you say fit?
Fit means how you prepare the animal, how you clip them, how you clip the hair, and how you prepare them. Because most of these animals get clipped from head to toe, and that's no pun intended.
Yeah.
So he really got to see a lot of great animals on the 8 years of being a fitter and traveling to all the other major shows. And he's been judging for quite a few years too. He was associate judge at Madison several times now. So, and I say Madison, I mean Madison is where the World Dairy Expo is held every year in October, and all the best animals come from around the world. It's similar to the Olympics, is the best way to describe it when I talk to other people. And he was he was asked to judge there as an associate judge. So there's a primary judge, and he was an associate judge, and that's quite an honor. So that's an indication of his knowledge in judging dairy cattle.
Well, we're coming up almost here at 11:55, and we've been on our Ustream now for about 55 minutes. We're going to be here all day, and Larry's joining me for the first few hours, and you're doing a great job, Larry.
Well, thanks, John. I'm learning from the best.
Oh, I don't know about that, but
we're getting it done.
Yeah, we are getting it done, and throughout the day, other expert guests will be joining us because, as everybody knows, I'm, as I said, the urban cowboy, learning this for the first time, but I am in awe of the discipline that these young people have. I have a 20-year-old daughter, and I have to be very honest. When my daughter was this age, I don't know if she would have had the discipline to handle an animal like this.
Well, everybody's got their own, passion in life, and I'm sure she's good at other things that I wouldn't have a clue about. So.
Well, congratulations out of Class 3 in our junior division. Coming back to compete will be Olivia Shawley and Caden Herman. Once again, congratulations to all of these exhibitors. If you can please give them a hand as they exit the ring.
We congratulate them.
Our final heat of junior showmen will be entering the ring. We'll be looking for Hayden Ayers, Emma West, Danielle West, Ava West, Madden Palmerton, and Jolene Mesh. After this heat, we'll look for all of those that were pulled to come back and compete for your top junior showman.
And as we make the switch here, we'll take another short break as we approach the noon hour here on Ustream, presented by WBBZ Productions in the Buffalo, New York area. If you're watching us from across the country, we're in Hamburg at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. We'll be back after this short break.
On behalf of all your Western New York dairy farmers, we assure you that our job has not changed. We are still caring for our animals as we do every day, and we are still producing a clean and healthy product that you can feel safe serving to your families. All the dairy products that reach your table are also on our own family table, never touched by human hands, and from the farm to the grocery store within 48 hours, 365 days a year, through calm or chaos. We promise.
Well, we are back. Larry Brown is joining me. I'm John DeSciullo. We are at the Erie County Fairgrounds inside the Showplex, and we were talking about how the animals are being brought out with the contestants, and they're heats, really, like we talked about.
Correct. They're still in the same age group, and but there were so many exhibitors that were entered, they decided to break out in 6 or 8 in each heat, and the judge is pulling out his top 2 or 3 animals in each heat, and then at the end, he'll bring them 2 or 3 animals back in for a grand champion final round.
So out of this heat, which is number 4 in this particular category, we'll get 1 or 2 animals and 1 or 2, and then they'll come back
Correct.
with the others for the finals. Here comes Kirby. Well, maybe not. So we should mention some of the contestants that are in this heat.
In the final heat, yeah.
Yeah. So let me grab my book here. We've got Hayden Ayers from Portageville, Emma West from Gowanda, Danielle West from Cattaraugus, Ava West, also Cattaraugus. I would assume they're in the same family there. Madden Palmerton from Delavan, and Jolene Mesh from Collins. Plus, you'd have to do it this way, I would think, Larry, because you couldn't have all the animals at once in the pen.
Well, they can if they use the whole Showplex arena here, but it's a lot easier for the judge just to evaluate 6 or 8 at a time. And plus, these exhibitors are young. They need a little bit more experience here. It'll give them a whole nother chance to come back in the ring and show their animal again if they get pulled out for the championship round.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because the Showplex that we're in, the portion that the animals are being showcased is really just a quarter of the facility.
That's right, John. This is a great facility here. But they also, the other section of the Showplex is set up for the hog show later on. So
That's
there's
right.
a lot of gates and pens.
And behind us are where the hogs are going to be coming out in just a little bit. So all the pens are set up behind. And by the way, even with the COVID restrictions, that has to be handled right there. Every other pen is being used.
Exactly. So that's all set up. So the Showplex is being used totally today, and they're really fortunate to have this much square feet to exhibit all these animals today. And I know that's another reason why they have all different weekends. They have different species, so they're not all here on one weekend. So I believe next weekend and the weekend after are more shows here at the Showplex with different species of animals.
That's right. It's not just cattle, dairy cattle, pigs we mentioned, and
Pigs are later today,
poultry,
tonight.
And
yep.
So all of those animals are going to be showcased, and all very individual and in their various areas, with the judges that are knowledgeable with those particular species.
You're right.
Yeah.
Everybody has their expertise, and today we have a judge, a dairy judge. His expertise is dairy cattle, and next week they'll have the I believe, sheep and other animals, and the horses are another couple weeks, I believe, and they'll have a judge that his expertise is horses. So.
And you mentioned the weekends. It's Friday and Saturday. So Friday today, we're the first day. Saturday will be number 2 tomorrow. Liz Mantell will be here. You met her last year on Fair Day Live, radio personality in the Buffalo market. She's going to be here as your host with our expert guests. That'll be tomorrow. And then next weekend, Friday and Saturday, and then the weekend after that. And the only real event happening at the fairgrounds besides Blast Out Hunger, which is coming up on Saturday the 15th. And you can come in at 8 o'clock. It's a free event. We ask you to bring a donation of food for the Feed More organization, which helps the Food Bank of Western New York. And then fireworks at 9:30 from the Skylighters of Western New York. So even the fairgrounds, you get a chance to see those fireworks every year, Larry. But this year, only one night, but at least something's happening. And I guess you can stay in your car and watch everybody at a distance.
Yep, they're doing their best to put on activities here. They have such great facilities and supporters like the exhibitors, but this Corona deal is really throwing a wrench in everything. It's challenged people to come up with new ways of handling the shows and events here at the fairgrounds, but at least they got this far. So
yeah, they did.
You got to give them a lot of credit for that.
They did, and we all got our check. If you're looking at our wristbands, this is as a result of being checked out earlier in the day. We had our temperature checked and everything, so we're following the rules. I hear the mic with Kirby. She might have an announcement. Maybe nope, they're just changing the music.
John, we get to keep these bracelets too, so I'm pretty excited about them.
And you know what, too, Larry? Maybe we could ride the rides. Oh no, I'm sorry, we can't do that this year, but we'll try.
Maybe next year.
When is the Chautauqua County Fair next year?
Well, we're usually earlier in the season, in the middle of July. Everything has really changed from the pandemic, so it has a lot to do with.
This will be the final call for Class 4. Junior showmen, please make your way to ringside.
It has the fair season. There's several different things. It's just not when the fair decides to have it. They have to make sure.
Once again, those of you that have been called back from your heats, please make your way to ringside at this time. First call, Class 1, intermediate showmen.
As I was saying, the fairs they have to make sure they have the concessions and all the food stands people can come. And also the big thing is the carnival. You don't get a carnival overnight, and if they're all booked, you have to find one that can come in a certain date and kind of work your way around their schedule and work together at it. And your exhibitors are usually more local people, and it is a challenge because these kids are there, especially the 4-H market animals. They are bought and fed for a specific weight. There's a minimum and maximum on the hogs, so you have to coordinate with them also to make sure that their pigs don't get too heavy, but you don't want them too light either. And so it's a tricky situation to plan a fair. It's just not 1 week out of the year. You have to plan and work all year long.
Yes, to think about, as you just mentioned, all those details with the animals. Well, as they come round, we're going to take one more 1-minute break. And then by that time, they'll be coming around, and we'll get a chance to see them again. So the Showplex is where we're at in Hamburg, New York, at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. Another quick break, and then we're going to find out the winners from this heat right after this.
Imagine a world without milk. It would be a tragic, tasteless existence. After all, with no cheese, how would anyone know when to smile? With no milk, why would anyone want to? But there is hope. Your Western New York dairy farmers are committed to providing the most wholesome, delicious milk products possible, returning smiles to tables and order in the universe.
So, everyone's okay with a cow in the house?
Milk for Health. The guys with the cows.
Connect with WBBZ TV, your hometown MeTV station. Channel 67.1 over the air and DirecTV, Channel 5 on cable, Fios, and Dish.
Chill out with some hot classics.
Online at our website, WBBZ.TV, with information about your favorite shows and hometown buzz.
Feeling a little frisky?
Join the conversation at WBBZ TV on Facebook, at WBBZ on Twitter, and check out our YouTube channel with playlists of our hometown programming.
Yes, sir. I'm going to lay around home and just take it easy.
WBBZ on TV and online, your hometown MeTV station. Captain Chris Musial just making sure we were all sanitized here. We have to do that every half hour or so to make sure that we're good to go. And Chris Musial helping produce our event here at the Showplex in Hamburg, New York. I'm here with Larry Brown, who is an animal expert and a fair expert, and it's so knowledgeable, and I really appreciate you being here to help me along understand what's going on. Now, we've seen this earlier in the day, and now they're back. The animals are lined up with the contestants, with the young people, and the judge is getting ready to make his announcement on what he thinks or who he thinks will be able to come back for the finals.
Well, congratulations in our final heat of junior showmen. Coming back to compete will be Danielle West and Hayden Ayers. Please put your hands together as these exhibitors exit the ring. At this time, we'll look to invite back all of those that were pulled out of their individual heats to come back and compete for our overall junior showman.
So now the contestants
out of Heat 1, we'll be looking for Levi Wilcox, Morgan Holcomb, Addison Keberly, and Jillian Brewer. Out of Heat 2, coming back to compete, will be Chloe Lamb and Addison Shawley. Out of Class 3, coming back to compete, is Olivia Shawley and Caden Herman. And out of Class 4, coming back is Hayden Ayers and Danielle West. This will be the second call for Class 1 Intermediate Showmen. Second call, Class 1 Intermediate Showmen. Please make your way to ringside.
So, Larry, will this be the final now, or
Yes,
will there
John,
be one after this? Or this is it?
This is it. This is where it gets real exciting. These are the animals and the exhibitors that he pulled out in their earlier heats to come back in. He's not necessarily placed them in them heats, but he pulled them out because they were some of the more elite animals and showmen. So he pulled them out in their respective heats to come back in for the championship round. So this will definitely be the championship round. So we'll just wait here and see how it turns out, because I'm sure everybody's excited about seeing the winners.
They're bringing their animals back into the pen, and they're slowly walking them in. One of the contestants here, Hayden Ayers, he's back, and no surprise, because in looking at his notes, again, he's won some All-American and All-National Junior All-New York competitions. So he's used to the competition and been a successful one.
Right. His family has been raising cattle and farming it for many, many generations, and they've definitely done an excellent job.
So he is a competitor. You know, you see that in so many things in life. You know, people who, whether it's gymnastics or athletics, they become very vested in the competition process, and I would think the same here with the animals. They get into the groove of getting those animals prepped.
Right. It's almost like their genetics is based on that.
I'm looking for some of the other information here with some of the other contestants, just to give you a little bit of background, so we can, like, for instance, Danielle West. She has won. She also has won for Commendable Hog as well. So she's had some other animals.
She's got multiple species here at the show.
And she also likes to play basketball. So again, at 13 years old, that would be what you expect. And we'll have to wait and see what is going to happen this fall for them with their respective schooling. But you know, right now we're talking about the Showplex and where they're at here in Hamburg, New York, for the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. Oh, I noticed one animal just got a little up on his hind legs there a little bit.
Yeah, they've been out here early this morning, and they've already showed in their heat, and the weather's been up and down. It's kind of a perfect day, but you know, they may want to go outside and just play. They may be getting sick of this leading around the ring. I'm not sure right now, but this will be their final, like I said, the championship round. So after this, they'll be able to go back and get their treat and some fresh water and some hay, and things will be good after this show.
I've noticed in doing my research, because I'm really learning a lot and want to learn a lot, if you see the ribs on the animal, that's actually a good thing.
Right. That's actually that's a naturally occurring with dairy cattle. That means that all the feed and hay and grains she's eating is going into milk production compared to the beef cattle. The beef cattle are just the opposite. You don't want to see the rib on a beef cattle. You want them to take all their energy, the nutrients that they consume, and put towards meat production.
Right.
Dairy cattle You want all that meat, all the all the nutrients and all the feed and grain. And hey, you want all that energy. You want all that to go to milk production. That's what dairy cattle do, is make milk.
And that's the difference between the dairy showmanship and the dairy breed show.
Exactly.
So you see that. So as we mentioned, when you see the ribs on the animal, you think, oh, well, they're underfed. You know, the average person like me would think that. That's not the case at all.
No, that's natural. That's the way the dairy cattle are bred. They've been bred that way for 100 years, and they're more intense. Their business is put milk in the pail. So,
and when that milk goes in the pail, it's a really quick turnaround between that time and the time that milk is on the
store shelf.
Correct.
Milk is highly perishable, so on the average, it goes through inspections normally about 8 times. The farms are inspected before it leaves, and it's tested. It's tested on the truck. It's tested at the milk plant. It's tested again before it goes in a jug. It's refrigerated. It goes to the store, and you buy it, and it's normally only a few days since it left the cow. So it's a highly perishable product, but it's very high quality nutrition also.
We hear some of the swine behind us there, and I guess they're just kind of getting used to the bedding and seeing what's going on.
They are doing a little practice for their show later this afternoon, so we got a lot of activity going on here.
Been in TV 40 years, never been hung up by a swine before, but there's always a first time.
Never been photobombed by a swine before.
That's okay. It happens, you know what I mean?
That's part of being here at the fair and the live animals.
And those live animals are what you're looking at here at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. This is the final heat, and we're going to get in one more break before we find out who the winners are. So stay with us because our sponsors are making this happen. Sponsors like Milk for Health, Tractor Supply Store, Russell's Steaks, Chops, and more, Clyde's Feed and Animal Center here in Western New York. We'll be back with more and to find out the winners right after this.
Milk and cheese and yogurt make me sing every day, 'cause milk is amazing. Drink milk to grow up with strong bones. 3 times a day, vitamin D and calcium. So drink it with chocolate, put it on your pizza. How about berries? It's always a treat. Milk is amazing.
Show me a fillet, show me a strip, a Russell's cut, a ribeye, or a crab dip. Come dine with me just right. Where would you like to have dinner tonight? Russell's, of course, Russell's, of course. Where would you like to have dinner tonight? Russell's, of course.
Be my guest and let us do the rest.
All right, so we're back at the Showplex, and Kirby Dygert, who you heard the voice of, is joining us now in the announce pen here with Larry and I. Kirby, welcome. This is a great event.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Thanks for calling me over while we're in a little bit of a intermission as our judge goes through our showmanship classes. So I'm excited you guys are here with us.
Yeah, well, Larry's been educating me on all things, and so in this moment, what is the judge looking at with the contestants?
So right now the judge is judging our junior championship round. So this is all of the showmen that are ages 9 to 12 years old. And they came from 4 different classes, and so basically they're the best of that age division. So right now he's looking through the group that he has in the ring and going through everything that he needs to know in his head are going to make these kids great showmen and cattlemen as they get older. So how they lead their cattle in the ring, their knowledge on their animal, and everything that it takes to get to this point. So
if you have to jump out, you can do that as we're live on Ustream. You've shown before, right? You've grown up in this, and what's it like when you're a young person out there? What was it like when you were that young person out there?
It's nerve-wracking. And I think it all depends on the species too, and your level of competitiveness. So a lot of kids have different levels. It's just like playing sports. If you're in it to win it, the second that you walk through that in gate, it's a rush, and you get excited. And some showmen are really intense.
Some kids are real just, ease and go in and just do their thing. So it's a lot of fun. You can't really explain, you can't explain the feeling of going in the ring, whether it's with a dairy animal or a hog or a, beef animal or whatever it may be.
So the end result of what we're watching now will be one grand winner out of this category?
Yes, so right now we're selecting our champion and reserve champion junior showman, and then we'll go on and do that in the intermediate division, which is showmen ages 13 to 16, and then the same thing in our senior division. Those are showmen ages 17 to 21. And then actually what we'll do after that is we'll bring in the champion from each age division, and we'll select an overall champion. So a lot of times it's the senior, but not always. There's the junior and the intermediate divisions are really competitive, and there's some kids in there that are excellent showmen. So we've seen it happen many times that those junior and intermediate showmen will come in and they'll beat the seniors. So more power to them.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll get a chance to talk to the children. I know we can't do that right now with the judge out there because it's very competitive and very serious stuff. So, and we should mention Kirby Dygert. In doing my research at the fair, your family has such a rich history. The actual Erie County Fair was held in your family's farm in the 1800s.
Yes, it was. So that's my dad's side of the family, and it's cool to have that history built into our family. And I grew up showing at this fair, and I've now been employed here for almost 10 years, and it's what we do. And same goes for the rest of our staff here. Whether we grew up here in the show ring or what have you, we all were a part of this fair at some point. So it's neat to watch that come full circle and all of us be a team and work together and do what we love.
And we should mention that team. It's you, Kirby Dygert, Becca Lickfeld.
Oh, yeah, we'll do the whole team.
Yeah,
so
Holly.
the whole team that's here with us now is myself, Becca Lickfeld, Holly.
Holly Smaczynski.
Yeah, I can't say those big long last names. I try on the microphone, but sometimes it's hard. Cammie Wendell, Laura Quillis, Paula Smith, Jess File, Jessica Underberg, our CEO. Maria Lucero. Maria, actually, she didn't grow up in the area. She's from Wisconsin, but, as soon as she came here and was a part of our team, she just, hit the ground running and is an essential part of our team. So I'm sure there's someone I'm missing. Our maintenance guys are fantastic. It's been a real different feeling, running a show like this. We're not usually the group that's here is not usually always the team that's down here, and we've really had to pull together and do this for the kids, and it's been great to get to know some other people on our staff that we don't usually work with a lot. So it's been a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. And Larry, one common denominator, most are all women. We know this. They're in
We've
control.
talked about
And
that,
most of
John.
them are blonde.
We've talked about it. I did not notice that, but
Yeah.
Well, Kirby, we're going to let you get back to your announce booth. All right, thank you very much. Kirby Dygert.
thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. So, but Larry, they've been working on this for many, many weeks, and with all the various obstacles that they've had to deal with, and the women have really been very dedicated to making this happen, and we're happy for that. Our guy Chad Marcolini's out there with the handheld camera. It's wireless, so we can go all around the showplex. It's really impressive to see those animals, isn't it?
Right, he's getting some great shots out there in the show ring, and that kind of gives you an idea of what the judge is seeing out there, to be up close and personal in every animal. And he's taking his time here in this class because this is really the championship. This is for the big win here. So he's doing a double take, and he's about ready to start making his pick here, and we'll see what he comes up with in the end.
So now he's talking to some of the contestants as we see them lined up. And some words of encouragement, too.
He'll be explaining to him about what he liked and what he thought might do better. And like I say, words of encouragement for these young exhibitors. It's really important at that age to give them some confidence. And, I mean, they'll walk out of here with a big smile on their face, and they'll know they had quite an accomplishment today. So.
And from here, the animals are brought over, and it's not just the showplex that's here. There are other buildings that have animals stored.
Right. Right, the other
this
animal.
is one of several major buildings where the animals live.
Right, the other buildings where the animals are housed, and there's a large milking facility where the mature cows get milked every day, and there's a lot to it, and not just doing a show ring here.
I don't want to take a break because I want to hold with us, but is he bringing them around now for another walkthrough? Is that?
I think this is the final lineup here. It looks to me.
So this will be the final lineup. I see. So he's going to walk the contestants and their animals off.
He's made his choices, I think, and He's pulling them out. And as Kirby mentioned, there's quite a few of the females are placing pretty high today.
Yeah. And these young people are joining us from all over the 8 counties of Western New York. And we really should mention our sponsors who are here helping us. You've seen some of them on our commercials, but Lindy, former Praxair company, they are sponsors. You see the logos on the bottom of the screen as well. L.A. Wooley Electric. Evans Bank, celebrating 100 years. Evans Bank, a proud supporter of everything here at the fairgrounds. Milk for Health, our presenting sponsor, bringing this home to you. The Tractor Supply Store. Clyde's Animal and Feed in Lockport and Hamburg. And we should talk about the animals. We mentioned the feed. If the animal and the farm needs something special, they have to go and make sure they get it. This is not something we just get at a grocery store. There's a special, and Clyde's is one of those locations. You have to get something special for your animal.
Right. Not all farms raise all their own feed. They do buy it, and quite often, again, with science technology, a feed salesman will come to your farm, and he'll take samples of all your hay and corn and your crops that you have at the farm, and that'll be analyzed in a laboratory, and he'll come up with a formulation of just what you need to balance out the feed, and they'll mix a custom ration for you. It'll be balanced for protein and vitamins and minerals and energy and whatever the animal needs, and that's pretty high tech, and that's pretty standardized now on most all farms. So that's part of the industry they work in, and the science technology that's evolved. And so if you need a special feed, you'll go to a feed store, and most of them will have a special mix for you.
And that's important. And Clyde's is a longtime supporter and longtime business in Lockport, New York, and Hamburg, New York. And, of course, Russell's Steaks, Chops, and More. Our friend Russ Salvatore, who said, sure, I'll help the young people. He made a donation to help us with the production today, and so we're able to bring that home. And kind of some irony there with him being a steakhouse, but we'll let that
exactly,
go.
But if everybody's probably ate there, it's a great place. It's just great. He does a great job, and hats off to him, and thanks for his support, man.
Well, I wish he could have been here today to see the young people, because, Russell's very big on dress. He wants to make sure everybody has that dress code. I noticed the judge is in a tie, which I thought was very impressive. There you see Pat right now.
Right.
And the young people are dressed in their whites, which, again, it elevates the moment. They're not just in their jeans.
Exactly.
They're in their whites.
That's a standard show attire, is the whites, they call them. And anybody that's grown up with them know what you're talking about when you mention wearing the whites.
So there he is, Pat Lundy. We talked about him before, and his expertise is very important. And he's from New York, I believe, but not from the area specifically.
Right, from Eastern New York.
Yeah. So the New York State connection is there. And some of the judges who are involved in the competition these various weekends have been here for a while. They didn't just come in today. They've been here and are really getting to know. Here comes Kirby. I think. Oh, here comes Pat.
Yes, the final
cut.
Give
these junior showmen a big round of applause. Not only this class, but all the kids that didn't make it back in the final, to a tremendous group all the way down the line. A lot of great showmen that maybe just wasn't their day to make it in the final. Maybe their heifers just didn't cooperate quite like they were hoping, but just a great group all the way down the line. But this final here, 10 heifers I think we have out here. Just tremendous jobs all the way down through. These top 2-3 showmen here, I think you could probably switch them any way you wanted, but for me today, this young lady in first, a calf that just never missed a beat, a calf that always kept herself gathered, kept her throat pulled, beautiful head carriage all the way through, and when he got in the line, I think that's what really sealed the deal for me over this beautiful Jersey calf here in second. The showman of the Jersey calf just got her legs, her front legs especially kind of crossed there in front when I come around the front, and that's what iced the placing for me. But second over third, I feel just maybe a little bit smoother. I do give her the advantage, kept her legs a little nicer all the way through in line and across the ring. But three tremendous showmen here at the top. Third over fourth, just a little smoother all the way through. I prefer the head carriage, the way she pulls her throat going around the ring here. Fourth over fifth, I feel this young man here in fifth, this calf's getting a little bit of fits right now, but a calf that never missed a beat all the way through. I told him here in line, just needed to see a little bit nicer head carriage, like to see it pull a little more throat, but a wonderfully trained calf. Tremendous group all the way down the line. Congratulations.
So he didn't mention the names, but
I think Kirby will explain, let us know which exhibitor.
Well, congratulations in our junior division at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. Your champion junior showman will go to Miss Chloe Lamb. Reserve champion will be Danielle West. Third, Jillian Brewer. Fourth, Morgan Holcomb. Fifth, Levi Wilcox. Sixth, Addison Shawley. Seventh, Olivia Shawley. Eighth, Addison Keberly. Ninth, Hayden Ayers, and 10th, Caden Herman. Once again, congratulations to all of our junior showmen here at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza Dairy Show. Now in the ring, we will look to start our intermediate division. These showmen are ages 13 to 16 years old. In Class 1 will be Morgan Griffin, Jocelyn Mesh, Markenna Kephart, Allison Gable, Esther Knappenberger, Amelia Brewer, Jillian Bond, and Brianna Cottrell. Class 2 intermediate showman. This will be your first call to ringside.
All right, so we got the names there, and Chloe Lamb was right on top.
Yep, she won in the youth division. Pretty exciting day for her and her family, so congratulations to the Lamb Farms. They have several farms in Oakfield and Batavia, and also up in Wilson, I believe, is their other farm. So they're pretty intense, and they certainly deserve that win today.
Well, congratulations to all of the contestants, really, because they made the cut to get to that final, and
Yes.
that speaks highly just in and of itself.
Certainly for the younger kids of that age group. So this next group coming in is just the next age group up. So we'll see how they're going to show today.
Well, we'll find out more about these contestants and what we're going to be seeing right here at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. We're going to take another short break, and we'll be back with more on Ustream and WBBZ.TV from Hamburg, New York.
Milk times 3 is good for me. 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 Strong bones, healthy bodies, tastes great.
Milk with chocolate, yogurt, cheese.
Make me healthy, stronger, please.
Milk times 3 is good for me. Milk times 3 is good for me. Milk times 3 is good for me.
The Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York. One of the Northeast premier agriculture and entertainment destinations. Home to the Erie County Fair, the Fairgrounds Event Center, Buffalo Raceway, Hamburg Gaming, and host to nationally recognized livestock, ag industry shows, and award-winning ag education programs. Annually, the state-of-the-art Agriculture Discovery Center and Showplex buildings attract thousands of participants and their livestock for events like the Empire State Beef Classic, the Spring Dairy Preview, and the National Junior Swine Association Eastern Regional Hog Show. Located near Buffalo and the U.S.-Canadian border, the Erie County Fairgrounds is a convenient drive from points across the East. Where competitors and champions grow, we'll see you soon at the Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York.
Milk for Help on the Niagara Frontier, bringing this home to you, and that is the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. I'm here with Larry Brown. Larry, I'm learning so much, and I really appreciate all of the insight that you're giving me and all of our viewers who are watching on Ustream and WBBZ.TV and online with whatever platform through the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. The contestants that are entering the ring now are a little bit older, but you were saying there's even another level that we're going to see, not only in age, but in class, and then as the day goes on, we're going to whittle it down even more.
Correct. This is the intermediate age group, and there'll be 4 heats of these, and the judge will pull out his favorites, and he'll bring them back at the end like he did in the juniors, and then there'll be a senior division also, and he'll pull out those, and he'll pick his senior champion, and then after he does that, he'll put all of his juniors, intermediates, and the senior champions together, and he'll make a selection for the overall champion showman. So that's a pretty exciting. It's really challenging for the younger kids to compete with older kids, but hey, you know, you got to learn the ropes somewhere.
Well, I've seen where, sometimes the younger contestant, isn't intimidated. What I find interesting is the judge, he's not taking any notes. I'm trying to keep track of everybody here, and I will admit it's a little challenging for me, but he seems to have an amazing encyclopedic mind for everybody he's watching.
Right, and that's something you learn over the years growing up with it. I haven't judged the big shows, but in your mind, you kind of keep track of what cow and which exhibitor and which calf goes with the cow. And over the course of the day, you see quite a few animals. And to be a good judge, you got to have a good memory, and you got to remember which animal you had and what position and the age group and the exhibitor. So it's challenging for the judge too, because he's got a lot going on out there in the show ring, not just walking around picking first and second place. So I give him a lot of credit.
Because each animal is different, obviously, so the color markings you can sort of remember it by. But for a novice like myself, after a while, the animals do sort of start to all run together and look the same a little bit.
Right, they can, especially a long day in the show ring. You've got to make mental notes of the animals you really like and the ones that are really good. And at the end of the day, you've got to decide which one you really like the best, and then you also got to explain to the audience and to the crowd why you picked that animal to be the best.
So there's a lot of pressure there, and this is a long, we're here for the long haul. Thank goodness we've done the Variety Kids Telethon for so many years, because this is sort of like that. We're out there, just kind of going on, and you've been terrific to fill in the gaps here with what we're looking at. So again, the animals come through, and one or two, as you mentioned, are maybe getting a little anxious. There's one in particular, well, two of them actually, that are kind of moving around. But it's interesting because even though that animal might be a little out of sorts, the others don't seem to be too affected by it.
Well, normally they're just kind of relaxed, and if you're on the end of the halter, you hopefully keep them relaxed and try to show your best. But once in a while, they do kind of step out of line and just have to circle around and put them back in line and set them back up. And the judge will notice that too, how well you did it and how quick you did it, and regain your composure, and hopefully the show goes on.
Well, the one thing that I've heard often mentioned here in our
This
broadcast.
will be the second call for Class 2 Intermediate Showmen. Please make your way to ringside. Class 2 Intermediate Showmen.
Is the respect for the animal. There's it's not as if these animals are treated in ways that are very unique. There's no mistreatment of these animals at all from the time they move to the farm and to here. And I think that's important to note too, that's another piece of this for anybody that's watching. The respect for the animal is there. And it's very important to have that. It's not just something to auction off later or just something to milk and generate. There's a respect for the actual creature.
Right, and that's something we're seeing more and more, animal welfare. And, most of us have a dog to home, but we don't take it to the Westminster Dog Show. And that's a whole different breed and line of care. And the same on the farms, these animals go back home and they're out on pasture with the other cows and that are not show cows, and they live a pretty normal life. But the kids do get them out and work with them and lead them and train them and wash them and fit them, and that's part of their summer activity.
When you were doing judging and you were working on different shows, was it always with dairy cattle or was it other different animals?
Well, primarily I'm a cow guy. I'll have to admit that. I'm kind of one species, but I can take a look at other animals and I can kind of be the best guesser, as they say, the judge for the day, but I would nowhere near be a professional.
Well, I would say you're very vested, obviously, in what we're seeing today. And these animals, let's talk about the breeds again. If you're just joining us, we're watching on Ustream, a feed that's out there in the world for the internet and on the WBBZ.TV website and any other platform that's sharing our feed produced by WBBZ. Our director, Andy, is back at the controls, and he's got the breed. So, Andy, if you put up the breed, we'll take a look, and you can explain again. If you're just joining us, we'll get another education. There's the Holstein.
Yeah, the Holstein is most predominant. That's what you see most of the day, but it's surprising there's quite a few color breeds here today.
That one looks pretty photogenic.
Yep.
These cows are looking right at the camera.
That's a little bit different. That's a lineback.
That looks like a...
but you can see the difference. It's black and white, but it's got the white stripe down the back.
Now, would that animal be used for beef?
No, that would be dairy. That's
primarily
dairy.
Primary dairy. You would think Because you would think that would, because it's so big.
And the same with the milk and shorthorn. They don't give as much milk, but different components, different protein and different butter fat. So there's been a few milk and shorthorns, and then we have the Guernseys, and I have to give kudos to my mom because that's what she raised when she was a kid in 4-H and showed here back just a few more years ago. I won't say how many, but
is the Guernsey is there a more popular breed? Like is Guernsey like Ayrshire, right there?
Ayrshire and Guernseys is about the same. Ayrshires are kind of the brighter reddish color. They're a pretty animal to look at, and I believe the Jerseys will probably be coming up next. Yep, and they're bred primarily for the butter fat, the cream, and the protein. They just genetically superior to give more components in their milk.
What would make the Jersey maybe do the more buttermilk than the brown Swiss?
Well, that's the way their DNA is. They've been bred for that over the years, and as time goes on, there's more and more input and more emphasis put on that because it yields more pounds of butter and yields more pounds of cheese. So there's been more dollars emphasis put on the components of milk. So more and more farmers have been emphasizing it more just for that reason.
How many calves will be bred as the life cycle of the animal moves forward?
Well, usually the cow has her first calf about 2 years old, and she starts in the production of giving milk. And they try to have a calf every year to maintain that milk production. So usually they have 4 or 5 calves, maybe 6 in their lives before time gets by and they're no longer viable.
And the life length of the animal, we talked a little earlier, and I don't know if we put it up yet on the broadcast, but we're talking about 10 years, you said?
Yeah, usually, over the course of 8 to 10 years, the cow, they're big animals. The big animals sometimes tend to wear out, and mainly their structure, their feet and legs, to carry all that weight. Their milk production tends to decrease as they get older, and plus, too, with intense breeding programs, your next generation is superior production. So it's in your advantage to move forward with your breeding program, to use some younger animals because they're going to produce more and be more efficient. So as time goes on, the older cows tend to take early retirement because you bring your younger ones in that are genetically superior. They're more productive. They're going to be more profitable for you.
Happens in television too, Larry. You know, the younger
younger
people just come right in, and those old cows like me just get put out to pasture.
Push it right on out.
Right on out.
Huh.
That's okay.
Well, you're still here, so you must be pretty good.
I'm hanging in till the end of this.
You're pretty good.
Congratulations. In our first heat of intermediate showmen coming back to compete will be Esther Knappenberger, Amelia Brewer, and Jillian Bond. Let's put our hands together as these exhibitors exit the ring. Next in the ring will be Class 2 intermediate showmen. We'll be looking for Maggie Winspear, Caitlin Storer, Erica Conheiser, Peyton Bennett, Rhett Nagel, Briley Green, Ben Hitchcock, and Addison Zelensky. Class 3 intermediate showmen, please make your way to ringside.
So she called for Class 3 to get ready, but
yes, Class 3. She called for heat number 3 or Class 3. Yep. She called them to be on deck. So,
but heat number 2 is what's coming up.
Heat number 2
right
is
next.
coming in the ring at this time, and heat number 3 or Class 3 will be coming to the show ring and lining up on deck in the on deck circle.
Well, we will be back with more as we get into heat number 2 in this age category at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. Larry Brown is with me, great co-host from the Chautauqua County Fair, and we really appreciate him, and we appreciate you watching on Ustream. We'll be back right after this.
Want the best for your pets? Decide on Clyde's. Most people think their best deal is with online retailers, but I'm always getting the best price at Clyde's Feed and Animal Center. Shop ClydesFeed.com for convenient 1 to 3 day shipping to your doorstep. They've got a great selection of food for every pet, from dogs and cats to horses and chickens, wild birds, and everything in between. You'll find more than food. Shop toys, treats, flea and tick treatment, grooming supplies, vitamins, supplements, and more at Clyde's Feed and ClydesFeed.com.
The Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York. One of the Northeast premier agriculture and entertainment destinations. Home to the Erie County Fair. the Fairgrounds Event Center, Buffalo Raceway, Hamburg Gaming, and host to nationally recognized livestock, ag industry shows, and award-winning ag education programs. Annually, the state-of-the-art Agriculture Discovery Center and Showplex buildings attract thousands of participants and their livestock for events like the Empire State Beef Classic, the Spring Dairy Preview, and the National Junior Swine Association Eastern Regional Hog Show. Located near Buffalo and the U.S.-Canadian border, the Erie County Fairgrounds is a convenient drive from points across the East. Where competitors and champions grow, we'll see you soon at the Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York.
Some beautiful imagery there that our Joe Malucci found. It's beautiful to see the vista of the animals in the farmlands. And we have some animals now. First of all, let me get the names in again,
Yes.
Larry, and then we'll talk about some of the animals that we're looking at. So Maggie Winspear is here from Oakfield, Caitlin Storer from Randolph, Erica Kornheiser from Arcade, Peyton Bennett from Arcade, Rhett Nagel from Clymer, Breeley Green from Cattaraugus, Ben Hitchcock from Randolph, and Addison Zielinski, it looks like. And so they're here now in heat number 2.
Of the intermediate. Age group.
13 to 16 years old. But there's one really large animal out there, and I'm not sure where Chatham is in the showplex, but we see him right. Oh, wait, well, of course we see him. There he is, right in the light. Tell us about this animal.
Yes, John. I see the animal coming in. I thought, wow, well, all these other exhibitors have been showing heifers or cows today. They've been showing females, and this young lady did not have a calf or a cow or a female, so she's showing her actually her dairy steer, which is a dairy animal that's been grown and showed for a steer. So in showmanship, you can show any sex of animal. So and that's why she's in there, and that's why that animal is so much bigger than the other ones. That's been bred and fed for a market animal for dairy steer.
So, again, somebody's watching this is going to say, I can't believe he's going to ask this, but he is. Milk will come from the steer.
No.
Okay.
A steer?
See what I said? People are going, I can't believe he asked that. And Larry said the same thing.
John, you know TV, and I know cattle shows, but
so
no, a steer
sex
is
of
for
the animal,
beef production.
Yep. And so why would that, what I'm, I guess, getting to is, why would that animal be allowed to compete if they're not a milk-producing animal?
Well, this goes back to the type of show we're in right now. We're in showmanship. So he's judging the way the exhibitor shows the animal and how she's fed the animal. So he doesn't really necessarily care if it's a male or female or a
showing of the animal.
It's a showing the preparation of how the animal's hair was clipped, how the animal was washed, how the animal leads around the ring and presents himself or herself. So the steer is really showing himself quite well, and she's done a great job. She obviously spent quite a bit of time with him.
Now, I noticed it says in the notes that I have the back needs to be straight, and I'm seeing that now with some of the animals.
Well, that's another technique that the clippers do. Fitting an animal is a lot of times they'll leave that hair grow longer, and then they'll clip it off so it evens out if there's any little low spots or high spots. That's one of the, your techniques of being a great fitter is to try to make that line completely flat and straight over the top line is what it's called.
And with that, I noticed eye contact, not only with the judge and the contestant, but the contestant with the animal.
Right. It's challenging when you're exhibiting in a show ring. You need to keep one eye on a judge and one eye on your animal at all times, and that can be challenging at times. But you get the hang of it over the years, and you can be pretty sharp and look attentive to the judge at all times in a ring. But you also have to have the feel of your animal too, can help out.
Right. And when we talk about the animal, we talked about earlier the ribs okay to show because that lean look and that lean physique is important for milk production. But with the steer, we're looking at like a bodybuilder almost.
Right. You're looking at pounds of meat hanging there, and but as I mentioned, she's definitely worked a lot with that steer, and he's clipped and washed, and he's handling fantastic for her out there in the ring. So we'll see how the judge evaluates her.
Is there ever a time in a show the actual milk is judged as well? Is there a different, like we talked about, some breeds are more productive with certain flavors. Is there ever a quality or a class of milk?
Well, typically not. They do give out an award here at the fairgrounds quite often during the fair for the cow that made the most milk during the week. But that's individual fairs give that out award, but that's not usually something that you would see in a show ring. There are individual shows that might give a production award, but that's usually not the case for the show ring.
Because obviously, you want the milk to be fresh and to really taste good and, be cold. It's just a perfect refreshment. And the taste is very important. And now with the show that we're seeing, the judge is walking around, Sir Pat's watching and making that connection. And will the stand and the leg and the cleanliness of the animal be judged as well?
Yeah, that's exactly what he's looking for. Again, in these older kids, but he's probably going to raise the bar a little bit higher because these kids are a little bit older, and how they handle the animal, how the animal responds, how well their feet are trimmed, how well the hair is clipped and washed. The ears got to be clean. Every little thing has to be on target today because he's got to pick one. So if he sees one little mistake, that might cost you a little bit in the end.
I have to say, I really give him a lot of credit because
this will be the first call for Class 3 Intermediate Showman. First call, Class 3 Intermediate Showman. Please make your way to ringside.
Even with the large animal, there's the contestant handling that animal so deftly. A large animal.
Right, almost effortless.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to see. And, that animal's never seen a judge of these other animals before, and yet the animal's not bothered by it.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. They're familiar with their family,
right?
The humans that they interact with.
But that shows how much she's worked with it. The animal feels comfortable being around the other people, feels safe. Doesn't feel scared or intimidated because the animal knows that the exhibitor has control of them.
So now they're lining up. So we've seen this before.
Yep.
And going to set them right up.
The judge is explaining to each exhibitor his thinking on evaluating their animals, and he'll pull out the top 2 or 3 to go to the next round.
Got it. Chris, we were talking about the flavor of the milk. Chris Musial came over. He said, what about there's no chocolate or strawberry milk cow?
Well, everybody jokes about that. Brown cows do not give chocolate milk. It
really?
Just, no, that's added later. They all give white, pure, wholesome milk, and it's all standardized at the milk plant, and then they add chocolate or vanilla or bittersweet mint, I guess. Some people, your favorite flavor is added later, but when it comes out of the cow, it's almost pretty much the same.
Well, and flavored milk, as a kid growing up, it was a treat to have chocolate milk, and I would think it's a part of the process in selling the product and in getting people to enjoy it, the flavors. Why
right.
not?
That's become
Congratulations on Class 4. Coming back to compete will be Maggie Winspear, Caitlin Storer, Peyton Bennett, and Rhett Nagel.
So those are the names who will come back.
Right.
Now entering the ring will be Class 3 of our Intermediate Showman division. We'll be looking for Irma Wolcott, Madeline West, Alyssa West, Olivia Petrie, Mulligan Palmerton, Georgia Luft, and Ian Keberly. Class 4 Intermediate Showman, this will be your first call to ringside. Class 4 Intermediate Showman, this will be your first call to ringside.
So before we go to break, Larry Brown, what's your favorite flavor of milk?
Oh, I kind of like that intense vanilla. To me, it's just like a vanilla milk on a hot day. But that goes to show, where the dairy industry has come and went to, and value added. They've already made chocolate milk for you, so you don't have to buy your own chocolate and buy your milk separately. It's just like buying a microwave cheeseburger. You don't have to buy your own burger and make it at home. It's already done for you. So
Intense vanilla. Maybe we'll try to get some as we go to break here. Milk for Health, by the way, presenting the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza along with Evans Bank and so many other great sponsors. We'll be back with more with my friend Larry Brown and you right after this.
On behalf of all your Western New York dairy farmers, we assure you that our job has not changed. We are still caring for our animals as we do every day, and we are still producing a clean and healthy product that you can feel safe serving to your families. All the dairy products that reach your table are also on our own family table, never touched by human hands, and from the farm to the grocery store within 48 hours, 365 days a year, through calm or chaos. We promise.
Hello, I'm Ross Salvatore, wishing all the youth competing in the Ag Bonanza good luck. I'm sorry I can't be with you in Hamburg. Remember, hard work and good showmanship pays off. I hope to see you and your families soon at Russell's Steaks, Chops, and more.
Milk for Health presents the Western New York Youth in Ag Bonanza, live to you at home, where youth from the 8 counties of Western New York will compete in livestock judging and showmanship in various categories. Live from the Showplex on the Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York, Milk for Health presents the Western New York Youth in Ag Bonanza.
Milk for Health presenting us here at the Youth and Ag Bonanza, and that is John DeShulo from WBBZ TV. Honored to be here with my friend Larry Brown. And Larry, we're on what's called Ustream, and we've all heard of the internet. This is a particular derivative of getting stuff out there on the online. You have friends and family watching.
yeah, I have quite a few friends and family. My mom's in Orlando, and my brother, and my niece is actually in Colorado. I don't know if she's watching, but she grew up at the fair too. And I remember one time in school, and a little kid, they asked her, about summertime activities, and she was telling about going to her Uncle Larry's county fair. Well, I didn't really own the county fair, but she thought I did, and that was pretty neat.
But you took it, didn't you, Larry?
Yeah, I kind of did. So.
Well, there they are. Look right at that camera and say hello to them.
How you doing, guys?
There you are.
And all my friends back home that are watching, sorry you can't be here, but there's better shows are coming, so keep your animals fit, and we'll see you at next show.
Doing great, isn't he? Larry's he's gonna be in the new class of category for best co-host on a Showplex show.
I'm just following your lead, John.
Oh, yeah, right.
You're learning about cattle today. I'm learning about TV and all
so
this
much.
stuff. So.
What a lead I'm giving you. I don't know about that.
He's getting a line, I think. You're getting a line.
I am. Now, here we are back, and the contestants are in, and
yes,
we're in
this
for
is the third heat of the
heat.
intermediate age division.
And these contestants, 13 to 16 years old, some of them have obviously been in shows before, and I'll look up some of the information. Kirby Dygert keeps us posted on who is in and keeping everybody moving along. How long does it take to get the animal from where the pen is over here to the Showplex? I mean, that's why you got to call it out to make sure they're here.
Not too long, but they just want to make sure everybody's here on that deck, and they don't want to miss anybody. That's the worst thing. I felt bad years ago, and you get a little kid that's been here and gets their animal already, and then they're just late getting to the ring, and then we missed them. But that's why we have a master catalog of anybody that's entered. So as they enter the ring, we can check them off, the ring steward, to make sure they're here, they're in the right class, and that we didn't miss anybody.
Yeah.
So that's another occupation, I guess, of the cattle shows, is somebody being a ring man and entering the people into the ring.
You certainly want that, because the children are focused with their animal, and they're, just like we are here on Ustream, you get focused with what you're doing, and maybe you forget a detail along the way, so you need somebody to make sure to remind them in.
And some of the classes may be fewer animals, and they go quicker, and you just may be a little bit late getting to the ring, but because everything is on the master copy, a good show staff will catch that, and they'll call you, and maybe your animal was sick today and you had to scratch her, but and them things happen, and you learn
that. It happens, yeah. I would imagine that would.
So you go on, but the show staff has to double check. So they'll make the announcement. if you're not here on time and try to get you here. But they like to get these animals here just a few minutes early, get them on deck. They got plenty of room here. And inside in the shade to be on deck. So they're all lined up ready to go when your class has entered the ring.
And we talked a little bit about the weather. It's a really nice day, and you see the sun shining there, and the temperature is pretty moderate, and it's cool right here in the Showplex. What if it was a really hot, sticky, muggy day? And I've been in this building doing other programming where it's been a hot, sticky, muggy day. It isn't fun.
No, it's still better than outside. I mean, you're in the shade. The roof is insulated. They have these big fans and ventilation system to keep the air moving.
How does the animal respond to that? Are they just animals and they just move along? And
yeah, it's even tougher for the animal because their body temperature is a little bit higher than ours, and they carry a lot more weight, and they carry a heavy coat also, even though their hair is clipped back. So it is tougher on the animals. You try to keep them hydrated, free choice water 24 hours a day, and
so the weather plays a role.
It does,
heat
and
particularly.
And it also can affect their attitude, and they cannot cooperate as well as you would like to on show day. But you just have to deal with it and make the best out of it and go from there.
Now, we've got a lot of different breeds here in the Showplex and a lot of different animals who've come from very disparate places. How many animals generally can coexist in a barn or in their own pen?
Well, the bigger, newer barns have a lot better ventilation, so it's really unlimited how many animals, especially dairy cattle, in confined housing, because the buildings are built specifically for a large number. The ventilation, the water supply, the feed supply, the stall bedding and all that, that's built for larger numbers compared to years ago. So it's kind of a, it's not a specific number it's limited to, but you have a stall for every animal, so that's the key thing.
Yes, so that they have their own space.
So they have their own
basically.
space. They can go lay down, and plenty of room to eat and plenty of fresh water whenever they want to eat or drink.
Some of the contestants we're looking at. One contestant, Olivia Petrie, sends in her notes. She enjoys spending time with her family and her dog, Mojo, and playing outside. So I would imagine the contestants here have those family pets and those family animals that are a part of the whole experience.
Oh, I'm sure they do. I remember as a kid, we had a dog. He got as a pup and had him 17 years, and just a great dog around the farm. And then, of course, we get another one, and I think all farm kids have a couple dogs as their favorite over the time.
Georgia Luft sends us a note that she has won as a master showman at the Niagara Show. So, we have the Niagara County Fair also. Every county in Western New York has more or less a fair.
All 8 counties. I know the show in Niagara is a youth fair, and what they mean by that's just 4-H. That's only for the youth, and that's what we're seeing today. Now, several of the other county fairs are run by the Fair Association, and that's open to the youth as well as adults. So adults can take their cow or beef steer or the pig or sheep or whichever species they have. So most fairs are open to the public for exhibitors, but I know Niagara County Fair and Orleans County Fair are both youth fairs, and that's run by Cornell Cooperative Extension, and they're only open to the youth to show in.
I remember the Cooperative Extension. When I was at Channel 7, we did segments with Cooperative Extension all the time.
Sure.
And here comes Kirby. Oh, maybe not.
Well, congratulations. In our Class 3 of Intermediate Showmen coming back to compete will be Irma Wolcott, Alyssa West, Mulligan Palmerton, Georgia Luft, and Lily Woodis. Put your hands together as these exhibitors exit the ring. Now it'll be our final heat of Intermediate Showmen. We'll be looking for Kyle Carpenter, Aubrey Gerhardt, Miranda Nickerson, Jenna Smazinski, Heather Woodis, and Cole Nickerson. After this class, we'll invite back all of those that were selected out of their individual heats to compete for your top overall Intermediate Showman.
So now we're getting ready for heat number 4, right, Larry?
Right, heat number 4 in the intermediate division. So
it looks like these animals are getting ready, and as they get ready to come into the Showplex, we're going to get ready to give you a quick commercial break with all of the great people that are making this possible for you to see on Ustream and the WBBZ.TV website, live from the Showplex in Hamburg, New York. We'll be back with the Youth and Ag Bonanza.
cheese and yogurt make me sing every day, 'cause milk is amazing. Drink milk to grow up with strong bones. 3 times a day, vitamin D and calcium. So drink it with chocolate, put it on your pizza. How about berries? It's always a treat. Milk is amazing.
The Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York. One of the Northeast premier agriculture and entertainment destinations. Home to the Erie County Fair, the Fairgrounds Event Center, Buffalo Raceway, Hamburg Gaming, and host to nationally recognized livestock, ag industry shows, and award-winning ag education programs. Annually, the state-of-the-art Agriculture Discovery Center and Showplex buildings attract thousands of participants and their livestock for events like the Empire State Beef Classic, the Spring Dairy Preview, and the National Junior Swine Association Eastern Regional Hog Show. Located near Buffalo and the U.S.-Canadian border, the Erie County Fairgrounds is a convenient drive from points across the East. Where competitors and champions grow, we'll see you soon at the Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York.
So Milk for Health is presenting us. We just had a sanitization break there, Larry.
Yep, every hour on the hour.
Every hour we did it.
That's
and
the rules.
We were wiping everything down here with Captain Chris and getting everything squared away. And it's almost lunchtime. It's just looking at my watch, around 1 o'clock. And
I heard Laura just stopped by and we're having pizza pretty soon.
Ooh, wow, how about that?
So they're treating us pretty well here.
And we got some sandwiches for our crew from Tops, because Tops is a sponsor, Tops Friendly Markets. All right, so the contestants are in, and we are in
This is the final heat for the
so this is we're in
intermediate age
heat
group.
number 4.
After this, we'll have the first and second places that he pulled out earlier come back for the championship in intermediate division.
And we talked a lot about family. You know, one of the contestants here, Jenna Smachinsky from East Aurora, Jenna's mom, Holly, is the marketing coordinator here at the Erie County Fairgrounds. And we've worked with Holly for many, many years. And I know that she's very proud of her daughter, Jenna. And she's grown up here at the fair. A lot of these children grow up at their respective fairs.
Right, and I don't know if he'd say, but I remember Holly years ago when she come on staff, and I believe her daughter is younger than how long Holly's been on staff, longer than what her daughter's
Yes,
been here.
I think Holly.
I think Jenna was born here.
Yes, I was just going to
so,
say that. I think.
But I did see Holly this morning, and she's all excited about her daughter showing, because they did not grow up on a farm. And I do see Holly over on the yonder sideline taking a video of her daughter. So
well, of course. And
I'm sure there's going to be stories to tell of Jenna showing her first animal here at the big fair.
And, you know, that's the part of the family. Like you mentioned, your family's watching. And I had heard on Facebook from some grandparents who have their children who are showing today. And it is an important family event. Here comes, you know what? We should bring Jessica Underberg in.
Sure.
Jessica, come on in.
Her and her sister Laura.
Jessica is the CEO of the Erie County Fair, and not only that, but here, take a seat here, Jessica. You brought us pizza. Here, no, come on in.
She's the best fair.
Laura is delivering pizza right here. This is fair food, isn't it?
Right.
Jessica Underberg has done so much here at the Erie County Fairgrounds. This will be, would have been your third year, I think, running the fair.
It would have been my third fair, yes. Third fair as CEO. Would have been my 24th fair as an employee.
And how many as an exhibitor, though?
Oh,
A few more than that.
33. Maybe a few more than that.
Okay, got that straight.
I have my bandana on, so I'll put it up because we are being COVID friendly. You have taken every single precaution, Jessica, to make this work.
We have worked a plan and reworked a plan, and it's probably changed about 10 times, and done everything we could to make it up to the standards of the county. And at the end of the day, we said if we can't have a fair, what I hope is that the exhibitors go home and say, if we didn't have a fair, we still had the Bonanza and we had fun in a safe way.
Well, you've done a great job. We talked earlier when Kirby was here about all the women on your team who put it all together, and they did a great job, and the men too. What do you think when you see these contestants? Because this took a lot of effort to get here. It's so unusual.
you know, the exhibitor portion is the heart of the fair.
Here comes Kirby.
Those that were pulled out of their individual classes in our intermediate showmanship division to come back and compete for your top overall intermediate showman. This will also be the first call for our class of senior showmen.
So you can finish your thought there.
What's going on here this weekend is absolutely the heart of the fair. And, you know, a lot of people know my story. That's how I grew up. I knew when we had to cancel the fair that there are kids out there that have worked so hard all year. And this is the highlight of their summer. And so if we could give them a little taste of that, I know it's not the full-fledged fair, but it's still, we're showing livestock, and that's what's important.
This is the heart of it, you know, as we've talked about, because the animals and the ag piece of it, going back to the origins of the fair overall, and as you said, you've been involved for so many years. So if there was anything to do, this was the event to do.
Exactly. It's just, you know, when you look around and you meet these kids, and I know Larry's been talking about the kids.
Out of our final class of intermediate showmen coming back to compete will be Ella Woodis and Miranda Nickerson. If you could please put your hands together as these exhibitors exit the ring.
We wish them congratulations.
We'll now invite back those that were pulled out of their individual classes to compete for your top overall intermediate showman.
So that's exciting. So now, Larry, will those contestants come back again now for another heat?
Yes.
Or for another round.
Right. He's going to pull in the first and second place here from the last 4 heats for the champion intermediate.
As a reminder to all of our hog exhibitors, we will not start the hog show until our dairy show is complete for the day. Once again, we will not start the hog show until we have completed the dairy show. At this time, our hog show is scheduled to start at 4 o'clock.
Because you're working through, as we heard the announcement on the animals, we're working through this in a process, not rushing it through.
No, and it's sort of not exactly like a basketball bracket, but sort of. You get your top 2 from each class, and you get down to a division, and then you get all your divisional winners, and you get down to a champion and a reserve champion overall.
So, and speaking of the winners we just heard, Larry, what did they win now?
Well, they'll come back in for the senior and junior champion at the end of the day, and that's where the big excitement is. That's what they're waiting for.
Yeah.
And they got bragging rights for the year.
I like that bragging rights.
Yes.
You know, it's my show. All right. Hey, Jessica Underberg, great job here at the Erie County Fair. Thanks for joining us. We're going to take a short break and thank all of our sponsors to help make this happen. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for your help to get this done.
All right. Thank you. We'll be back from the Showplex in Hamburg, New York, right after this short break.
Want the best for your pets? Decide on Clyde's. Most people think their best deal is with online retailers, but I'm always getting the best price at Clyde's Feed and Animal Center. Shop ClydesFeed.com for convenient 1 to 3 day shipping to your doorstep. They've got a great selection of food for every pet, from dogs and cats to horses and chickens, wild birds, and everything in between. You'll find more than food. Shop toys, treats, flea and tick treatment, grooming supplies, vitamins, supplements, and more at Clyde's Feed and ClydesFeed.com.
Hello, I'm Ross Salvatore, wishing all the youth competing in the Egg Bonanza good luck. I'm sorry I can't be with you in Hamburg. Remember, hard work and good showmanship pays off. I hope to see you and your families soon at Russell's Steaks, Chops, and more.
All right, we are back here at the Showplex in Hamburg, New York. Larry Brown is with me from the Chautauqua County Fair and just an overall expert. What are we seeing right now coming in, Larry?
Well, these are the first and second place of the intermediate age division that the judge pulled out earlier in the heat classes. And they're going to compete, and then for the champion and intermediate champion. And after this, we'll start our senior division showmanship classes.
So the champion intermediate is what will be determined in this.
Right. And then we'll do the senior division, which are the older kids.
Right.
The next 4 heats.
So the next 4 heats with the senior showmen, and they're 17 to 21, we would basically be doing what we just saw with the younger.
Correct.
And as we're going up. So we're going up in age class.
Yes.
But in this particular show, this is the intermediate show for that
age group, for the middle age groups.
Okay.
Yes, this will be the champion of the middle-aged kids here.
Okay.
And at the end, when he gets his senior champion, he'll bring in the junior champion, which you previously saw, and the champion of this age division, and the champion of the senior division for the overall champion.
Right.
And that's where it gets really competitive, because the younger kids really want to beat the bigger kids, because sometimes it's their brother, sister, cousin, somebody they know. But it's really tough, but it's exciting and it's fun to compete, at a different age level, even though you may be at a little disadvantage. But that's the way you learn and you grow. And
age is but a number, Larry, I think.
That's what they tell me, I guess.
Yeah, and with that, I noticed with some of the animals, like we talked about the bagging and the milking, I noticed there's one particular animal out here, looks like it's ready to give a lot of milk, like right now.
Yep, I see that nice Jersey cow there, and her udder's full, and she's looking good, and she's a really good show animal to begin with, and she's full of milk, and she's been fit and clipped and washed real nice, so we'll see how well she does.
Growing up, as we talked about, I'm originally from Philadelphia. I've been in Buffalo 30-some years, but, I'd come to the fair and I'd see everything. And as somebody who, again, is a novice with animals and learning about them and learning a lot just doing this presentation, when a cow is milked, it doesn't hurt them at all. This is because you would think, wow, that must hurt. It doesn't hurt. It's a natural thing in life.
Right. It's natural, and it's a relief because the pressures that build up, and the cows give so much milk. They really enjoy it, and because if it wasn't, the cow will not let her milk down, which means she will not let you harvest the milk. If she's in fear or fright or in any kind of pain, she will just tense up and lock up her muscles, and you will not get the milk out of her, no matter how much milk is in her.
So if a cow isn't milked, say for some reason there's some issue in the cow, what happens then?
Well, the process reverses, and it gets reabsorbed into the cow's system.
Oh.
See, it's a two-way street there. And that's another reason why they milk cows 3 times a day, to remove the milk so she can produce more. Because as she produces milk in the cow's udder, it builds pressure, and that slows down the system.
Yeah.
So if you milk more often, every 8 hours instead of 12 hours, there's less pressure, so she will naturally give more milk.
Right.
So that's the reason for doing that. But of course, you don't get any sleep if you milk 3 times a day, but
that's right.
That's what you got to do to be the best.
So what's the average, you're a farmer, your dairy farm, what's the average time that you wake up and get into the barn and figure this out?
Well, everybody varies. The bigger farms now that milk 3 times a day, they have 3 8-hour shifts. So you come in and you work for 8 hours and then you go home. But so that can vary. But, most farmers, they get up early, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, and you just work till the work's done.
Yeah,
you
just
don't
keep
wear a
going.
watch.
Yeah.
You work till the work is done, and then you go in the house, have supper, and go to bed.
The animals dictate to a great degree the whole lifestyle, and getting up early, early to rise is a good thing. With the animals that are out there now, this is the showmanship again, right? So
Correct.
They're looking at, like we said, the straight back, the look, the cleanliness of the animal, how it's standing.
How the hair has been clipped and fitted.
Yeah.
Cleanliness of the ears and the head. How the animal leads and responds to the exhibitor.
And if you're just joining us, Pat Lund is our judge, who's been here all throughout the day in the Showplex in Hamburg, New York. If you're watching us on Ustream and you're just joining us, this is the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. We've been online since 11 a.m. this morning with our presentation presented by WBBZ TV, with our sponsors, including Evans Bank, Russell's Steaks, Chops, and more. Milk for Health, our presenting sponsor, and so many other greats that are here. So he's out there now, Larry, he's looking around, and the animals are all this is the calmest I've seen.
Well, this is a championship round for the intermediate division, so the tension is getting a little bit higher as the day goes on. And I'm sure in his mind he's got a few of his favorites picked out, but he's giving everybody one last look. And now he's given the direction to circle the animals around the ring to once again see how well they walk, see how they move, see how they respond to the handler.
I'm enjoying the music. It's a great, diverse batch of music, but the animals don't seem to be moved by it at all.
No, they're used to it. There's quite often music in the radio in the milking center and then around the farm to home. And, it's one thing the team does here at Erie County Fairgrounds is they put on a great show, not just a show for the animals, but in the mornings they start every day of the fair with the Pledge of Allegiance. During the shows, they have background music, and they picked up the pace, I think. It's a little bit more rock and roll here. But that's a good thing, It keeps everybody on their toes and excited and glad to be here. And things are moving along, and it's really been a really great day so far.
It's a great day, and we've talked about the weather, and the air in here is circulating. It's a shame that the spectators can't be here. The families, the immediate families only are here.
Just the mothers and fathers. And I know because I heard from a few that the grandparents, that usually come and help out, and even just a pat on the back to the grandkids. I mean, a lot of the grandparents showed here and other fairs, and, they're thrilled to death to see the grandkids. But unfortunately, with the pandemic and the rules and regulations to keep all of us safe, they had to draw a line. And originally, I was not allowed to come until I was somewhat involuntary nominated for this program, and so I'm fortunate to be here myself.
It is impressive to see. I've seen animal shows over the years, but nothing for the length of time. Oh, here comes Kirby again. Maybe? The music goes down. I always think Kirby's coming up.
I guess they changed genre on there. But
I guess so.
We really we're watching the judge here, and he's making his final selection here. And
I'm getting used to the process now of how this is working. And there's Holly right there. Holly Smazinski.
I think her daughter showed pretty well.
Yeah, she did. And she was happy to be a part of the show. And Holly, very proud of her. Well, as the judge continues to walk around, you see on the bottom of the screen the logos of the different people who are helping us. We're going to take a quick break and make sure you find out more about them. We are live on Ustream and the WBBZ.TV page and wherever else you're watching us online, generated from WBBZ TV. We're proud to do this from Hamburg, New York. The West New York Youth and Ag Bonanza will be right back in just a minute.
On behalf of all your Western New York dairy farmers, we assure you that our job has not changed. We are still caring for our animals as we do every day, and we are still producing a clean and healthy product that you can feel safe serving to your families. All the dairy products that reach your table are also on our own family table, never touched by human hands, and from the farm to the grocery store within 48 hours, 365 days a year, through calm or chaos. We promise.
Hey, we are back here at the Showplex in Hamburg, New York. Chad Marcolini, you see him there in the pink shirt and the white hat, and he's out in the pen keeping social distance, not only because of COVID, but also because you don't want to get too close to the animals with the camera. But we're really getting a chance to see what his camera work is doing, and he's been here all day, as has Joe Malucci and Chris Musial and Andy Smazinski, and we're really working hard to present this to you. And it's not just the dairy and the cattle. We have other shows coming up, Larry, that are equally as exciting as we go through the following weekends.
That's right. Even this afternoon, the hog show starts immediately following the dairy show.
We got a preview of that a little bit ago. I don't know where that little hog went, but
they photobombed us.
Poultry and rabbits. Some of these shows are actually going on in other venues here on the fairgrounds. So I believe some of the shows will be delivered to us with the winners. And then there's the beef cattle show and the poultry rabbit show, which is tomorrow. Then next Friday, the sheep show and the meat goats.
That's right. That's something new a few years ago that I learned about being on the fair board, that around the world that meat from goats is consumed more than any other animal. And there's a special breed of goat that is specifically for production of meat, the Bora goat breed. And many fairs adopted the 4-H meat animal goat program because of that. So that's
meat
something
from goats is the most eaten meat?
Because other third world countries don't have the privileges we have of beef and steers and hogs. So
interesting.
Around the world, goat meat is consumed more than any other meat.
And the sheep show, would that be the coat and the wool and the actual animal, how it would look?
They do judge on that also, but I think primarily most of those are for the market animals, which are the meat breeds.
And the llamas will come back.
That's always a fun show, and it's fun to watch them.
You hear of llamas and alpacas sort of sometimes in the same grouping. Now here we are with the animals. Now they're lined up now. As you said, there's more of them for this championship division.
He's taking his time, and he's really going to be diligent to pick the best one for the show today here in this intermediate division.
Well, Larry's been with us since the start, and from the Chautauqua County Fair, and you've been involved in this really all your life. And you're going to continue on and work to get the Chautauqua County Fair going next year. But right now we're here and we're looking at these animals and the young people that are with them. You can almost sense as the judge walks by, I'm getting nervous watching them a little bit.
I mean, you really have to go out there and experience for yourself. I mean, it's exciting, it's nervous, it's fun, all at the same time. And at the end of the day, you accomplished something, no matter if you're 8 years old or 108. I'm in between, I guess.
In between. I really am impressed with the way the animals are just being so cooperative, basically.
Right. Well, you can tell that these kids have spent quite a bit of time with them on that halter, because normally it's not quite that easy in the beginning to break an animal to lead, nevertheless to show in a show ring.
If anybody has grown up like I did in the city, or if they're watching and they're in an urban setting, if they can get out to the country to visit a farm, or if they have family friends who might be in rural areas, it's a cultural difference, but it's a good cultural difference to really understand. You get more perspective, I think, on life and the whole cycle of things.
Right, and I understand, people are more removed from agriculture than ever, but at the same instant, we all eat every day. We can't always go to the grocery store to buy our food. People got to remember that food came from somewhere. Somebody grew it, somebody raised it, somebody packaged it up and shipped it to the store. For our convenience, we stop on the way home and pick up whatever we need, and in a few minutes we're home. And they're open normally 24 hours a day, and they never run out. So it's an amazing system that we all benefit, and we almost take for granted at times.
And I think with the recent COVID and coronavirus, we really, really now respect and are grateful for the work of the farmers because of the interruption.
Right, and there was an interruption on the farm end of it, but the transportation from the farm to the grocery stores, some of that was interrupted, and there was minor shortages, but there was actually a massive surplus on the farm side.
Interesting.
Which is interesting, yes, because why do we have stores that are empty when there's a surplus of milk at the farm side of it? And that's a whole nother issue, but we got to thank the hardworking farmers, because it's not 5 days a week, it's 7 days a week, it's 365, whether it's Christmas, your birthday, a snowstorm, maybe it's a beautiful day like today, you want to go to the fair. Well, you still got to do chores and take care of your animals before you can go, and after you get home, you got to take care of them again. So,
but certainly our hats off to the farmers who've gotten us through these recent months, and the truck drivers who are out there to transport all of those goods, and hopefully things will start to move forward, and the protective measures that we're taking here today will
need to thank a lot of people. Myself, I haven't lost any weight, so I'm fortunate that I haven't missed many meals for the whole period.
Yeah. No, a lot of us have been blessed, and a lot of us have suffered through it. But that said, we're going to get through it together, and we're here at the Showplex in Hamburg celebrating the Youth and Ag Bonanza, which makes it extra special considering the times that we're living in. So now is the judge going to line them up again?
Yes, I believe he's pulling them out and making his final placings, and as we mentioned earlier, he's got this Jersey cow with that beautiful udder right on top on first place. So we'll see. We'll see how this works out. He's getting closer.
So as those animals line up, we should mention that we're here at the Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York, and the fair would have started next week for, I believe, 181st, I believe, would have been the fair this year. But it's not happening, obviously due to the pandemic. It'll happen in 2021. And the first time since World War II that this fair hasn't happened. And World War II is for rationing and some other issues. So very rare that things, and in your case too.
I remember my family talked about years ago, most all the county fairs were canceled back then because of the shortage of rubber and steel and sugar, I believe. So I guess in our lifetime this is unique, but not in our parents or grandparents or great-grandparents' lifetime.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about this year for many years to come. And
they talked about there's better times ahead, so I guess there's better times ahead for us too.
There
here
are.
At home and at the fairs and all the festivals.
Well, on the map, if you go to the fairgrounds website, you see all these buildings that we talked about, that during fair time, all the animals are shown and the public can get a chance to see them. That makes it interesting too because it's a comfortable environment. Oh, here comes Kirby. No, maybe not.
Yeah, they have buildings for all the different species, which is great for the fairgoers to view them, but there also is a little bit of social distancing already built into that. State ag and markets prefer not to commingle animals, not because it's an issue over room or anything. It's just in case there's an issue, you're not spreading any diseases that might be transmitted between species, because some diseases may be zoonotic, which means they transfer to all animals, and some diseases are unique to just one species. But many fairgrounds do house their animals in separate buildings for that reason.
That's interesting. So the commingling of animals just not because of the temperament, but because of whatever health issue there may be.
Just a precaution, and it's been that way for many, many years, and there's a lot of other safety issues built into it to prevent any issues and whatever. So we're fortunate, and I have to say this a little bit, because our animals do not have COVID and we're not suffering with them. They're still producing massive amount of food for us to consume, and so we're very fortunate we have that system in place.
Very fortunate in how that is working out.
What a class of intermediate showmen here. Give them a big round of applause. There was a lot of kids in all the heats, and I brought quite a few back here, a bigger class than the junior class, but you can start Lee now. But tremendous quality all the way down the line, and for me, these top two showmen are really, really close pairing. Two tremendous leadsmen, two very, very smooth on the halter. I give the advantage to this young lady in first here. Just kept her cow's legs just a little bit neater underneath her here in line. Taking nothing away from this lady in second, the young lady in second. A very, very smooth halter, a heifer that really grabs you from across the ring. A heifer that maybe you'd like to change her legs just a little bit, and it would show in line a little bit. But she did keep her heifer's legs underneath her a little better than this young lady here in third place showman, a beautiful showman too, a heifer. A showman that really smooth around the ring. Like to get her legs out behind her just a little bit, but I prefer the way she holds her head, a little nicer head carriage than this pretty red calf here in fourth over fifth, just a little smoother. And once again, I'm going to harp on legs here a little bit today, but kept her legs, heifer's legs, a little square underneath her all the time. But congratulations, beautiful class.
So that's Pat Lundy, the judge, and he's made his choices. And
yeah, John, that's the Jersey cow we talked about pulled out the big win here.
Yep.
Congratulations in her intermediate division. Our champion intermediate showman will go to second sphere. Reserve champion is Georgia Luff. Third, Lily Woodis. Fourth, Jan Bennett. Fifth, Alyssa West. Sixth, Irma Wolcott. Seventh, Ella Woodis. 8th, Rhett Nagel. 9th, Mulligan Palmerton. 10th, Caitlin Storr. 11th, Miranda Nickerson. 12th, Esther Knappenberger. 13th, Amelia Brewer. And 14th, Jillian Bond. Now in the ring will be our class of senior showmen: Sophia Woodis, Tori Hitchcock, Ryan Hamilton, Lindy Nagel, and Haley Rowling. After this class, we'll look for all champion reserves back to compete for your Grand Reserve overall showman.
So Maggie Winspear came out on top of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was that Jersey cow with the really nice udder that we
Yeah.
saw earlier, and she did win the class. And
Maggie is from Elba, and also has some chickens apparently on her farm.
yes,
And,
I believe the Elba is the onion capital of the world. Is
It
that
is,
right?
yes.
I've heard that also.
Yeah.
So
A
kudos
fount
to them.
of knowledge, Larry Brown.
Well, you know, we all have a brain.
Well, it's it, and it is the onion capital. I saw many Mike Randall stories on it. Well, as the next
Great.
class comes in, and by the way, I wanted to make Murph make mention that was an utterly perfect presentation. Did I say-
John.
Yeah. All right.
I'm sure you could get a job here as a
I
comedian,
could,
not
I
just
could.
announcing on the fair.
I think
so.
it's time to take a break, everybody. We'll be back from the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza right after this.
It's good for me. Milk Times 3 is 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 good for me. Strong bones. Healthy bodies. Tastes great.
Milk with chocolate, yogurt, cheese.
Make me healthy, stronger, please.
Milk Times 3 is good for me. Milk Times 3 is good for me. Milk Times 3 is good for me.
Want the best for your pets? Decide on Clyde's. Most people think their best deal is with online retailers, but I'm always getting the best price at Clyde's Feed and Animal Center. Shop ClydesFeed.com for convenient 1 to 3 day shipping to your doorstep. They've got a great selection of food for every pet, from dogs and cats to horses and chickens, wild birds, and everything in between. You'll find more than food. Shop toys, treats, flea and tick treatment, grooming supplies, vitamins, supplements, and more at Clyde's Feed and ClydesFeed.com.
We're back at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza here with Larry Brown. You said you went to Penn State, Larry.
Yes, I did after college at Penn State, College of Agricultural Science, and focused on dairy science. So that's how I know so much about dairy
You
cattle,
do.
I guess.
You know a
So,
lot.
I wasn't quite good enough to play football for Coach Paterno, but it was a great experience, and it's a lifetime of family members that you meet, and it sticks with you forever, and that's part of being in the fair business. You meet people, and you become friends, and you're family forever.
Yeah.
So.
And Larry's a part of our family here at WBBZ as we present this on Ustream. And now, as we heard before the break, these are the senior showmen, and they're 17 to 21 years of age that are coming in, just a few.
Right, there's only one heat of these.
So this is it for this group.
So the winner of this will be the champion senior, and after this, they'll bring in a champion junior, the champion intermediate, and the winner of this heat is a champion senior.
Okay, so let's go through that again. So this will be the champion senior.
Correct.
And
Age
then
division.
And then after that,
they'll bring in the champion of the junior division.
Junior division. I'm writing it down.
Champion of the intermediate division.
And then intermediate.
And the champion of this group, which is the senior division. And from there, he'll pick the overall grand champion showman of the show today.
If I'm thinking of like basketball brackets, now I'm thinking, so we have the winner of the senior will be here.
Yep.
And then we'll have the
winner of the
junior
and intermediate.
Junior, intermediate, and senior. So they'll come back, junior, intermediate,
those three
senior.
will be in there.
And then the big win.
That'll be for the bragging rights for
Okay.
the year.
All right, there you go.
I'm the champion showman. You might have been champion of your division, but I'm overall champion.
Got it.
So that'll be next.
And the contestants here, Heather Woodis from DeWittville, New York, which I believe is near Syracuse, right? I think.
No, that's actually down in my county.
Is it down there?
Yes,
DeWitt,
it's down by
New York is near Syracuse. Yeah.
Stockwell Lake region.
Okay.
So they're a great family. They moved here actually from New England states about 10 years ago, and they milked 900 cows. So they're great people, and they have several kids. You see their name in the program today several places, and they've done a great job.
Tori Hitchcock from Randolph, New York, which is near Jamestown, right?
Right, down by Kennedy.
Ryan Hamilton from Castile.
right? That's out in Genesee County, I believe.
And Lindy Nagel from Clymer.
That's another one from my home county of Chautauqua County.
Have any of these families been a part of your Chautauqua County Fair?
Oh, several of them have. The Woodises.
Attention to all hog showmen. Our show is scheduled to start at 4 o'clock. We will keep you posted as far as a start time if we need to move it back, but we do plan to start at 4 o'clock, but we will not start until our dairy show is over.
So with that said, it's now check my watch here, 1:35. How this would go on until 4 o'clock, do you think? Or
I believe so, because after the showmanship, they start the breed classes. And what that means, they show the Holsteins are all showed together. They're not showed against the other breeds. And
This will be the second call. We'll be looking for all champion and reserve champion showmen back to the ring to compete for Grand Reserve overall showmen. Once again, we're looking for our champion reserves back to ringside to compete for Grand Reserve overall showmen.
I see. So the individual
We will
breeds.
be rolling right into our dairy steer show after the selection of our champion and reserve overall showmen. So dairy steers, this is your first call to ringside.
So the animals would be of the same breed coming up soon.
Right, and the animals will be different ages. Like this morning and showmanship, the kids are different ages. In the breed classes, the animals are different ages, but the breed is the same. So they're competing against the same breed in the same age group. So
I see.
Some breeds have quite a few animals, like Holsteins are predominant, but some breeds don't have so many. So they'll move right along, I believe. But
Move right along. Did I hear you say that?
Well, I'm trying to keep up with it, John. I'm learning. I told you I'm learning about TV here today. But
you are.
We do have one interesting class here after the championship showman is a dairy beef steer class. I believe there's 5 or 6 dairy beef steers that the kids have raised and planned on selling in the auction at the 4-H sale, but because that was canceled, they have them here today, and they did make a class for them in order to exhibit their dairy beef steers. So I'm pretty sure that's coming up next, right after the championship showman.
Gotcha. So with that, again, I'll ask a question that might seem a little odd to some, but if it's dairy beef, it's an animal that milks and also for beef, or is it just for beef?
It's from the dairy breed,
Dairy
but it's
breed.
been fed for beef.
Got it.
So, and they're steers, but it's from any of the dairy breeds, but it's been fed and raised for meat.
Okay.
So, in the end, it'll go for beef, and it'll never be for milk.
Yeah. And those animals are auctioned off, and
Normally they
that's-
would have
and
been,
that's a part of the
correct.
process with the young people as they raise them. They understand that at some point the animal will leave them for auctioning.
That's part of growing up and realizing, and that's how the system works.
Yep.
But we all enjoy a good steak dinner or turkey on Thanksgiving, and that's kind of how the system works.
Sure.
And how we've management and
it pays for a lot of college expenses and other things.
exactly.
that
And
go
if you
with
want
it.
that new car, you may
Yeah.
have to sacrifice that.
Yeah.
But in the end, all of society benefits from our agricultural system and our animals, because we're really feeding the world. So
We are, and we're blessed to be where we are, not only in the United States, but in Western New York, which has such a diversity in so many levels with what we're able to grow here and what we're able to enjoy with the various animals that can all coexist here. I mean, the weather is such that we can have all of these different animals
And
here.
it is truly amazing, this part of the country and the world, because not only animal agriculture, but we have all the fruit industry along the Niagara frontier, and we have the grape industry along the Chautauqua region. So,
we see the grapevines there even off the thruway.
Exactly, and when you drive through there in the fall, it smells like grape juice. And when you go up through Niagara and Orleans County, you have all the apples and peaches growing, and other areas are big in vegetables and grains and corn, and not just corn and soybean and hay and cattle, but we have quite a variety of crops that are grown that we all enjoy and pretty much take for granted, because we can go to the store any day of the week and buy whatever we feel like.
And I know the corn crop, this year I would imagine is going to be pretty robust considering the weather that we've had.
Yeah, I think so. It was pretty warm and dry, but we've got enough rain now, and we've had plenty of heat to make the corn grow and ripen. So I think it'll be a pretty good crop this fall.
All those fair foods that we love so much will be back in 2021, but as Larry said, you can enjoy them as you go to your local supermarket, including Tops, which is a proud sponsor of the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza, along with so many others, including Tractor Supply, Milk for Health, Clyde's Animal and Feed Center. And we have some others that are bringing us this presentation on Ustream and WBBZ.TV. And we'll find out more about them as these animals are brought back. We'll take a quick 1-minute break and then be back and find out who is going to win in the senior class right after this.
Imagine a world without milk. It would be a tragic, tasteless existence. After all, with no cheese, how would anyone know when to smile? With no milk, why would anyone want to? But there is hope. Your Western New York dairy farmers are committed to providing the most wholesome, delicious milk products possible, returning smiles to tables and order in the universe.
So, everyone's okay with a cow in the house?
Milk for Health. The guys with the cows.
Saturday night is movie night on WBBZ TV. The fun starts at 6 p.m. with The Three Stooges. Then at 8, Svengoolie screens the classics.
Kerwin.
And later at midnight, Buffalo Beatniks, Zelda, Bird, and Theo serve up hot coffee and cool movies on Offbeat Cinema.
Keep watching the skies. Keep watching.
And keep watching WBBZ TV, your hometown MeTV station. Channel 67.1 on air and DirecTV, Channel 5 on cable, Fios, and Dish.
Fifth, this young lady with the Guernsey, another tremendous job. I'd just like to see her keep her legs underneath her a little bit, a little more control over her heifer, but a tremendous job all the way through. Congratulations.
We're going to come over now. Yeah, congratulations, Pat Lundy. Pat is our judge. Chatham, if you can come over. We were in a little bit of a break when you were announcing the winner, and who did you announce just now in the seniors?
I don't know her name.
You got the names there, Kirby? Lindy Nagel. Okay, so I just wanted to make that clear, and we wanted to catch up with you because we were just talking over there with Larry. You have an encyclopedic mind to look at these animals and learn so much.
I don't know if I'd go that far by any means, but yeah, I've done it quite a few times, and it's hard to judge showmanship. There's a lot of very talented kids out here, and you're really nitpicking on a certain day. Just on a heifer, heifers have good days and bad days, and showmen have good days and bad days. So some kids that are 5th, 6th here today can win next week if there was county fairs. Obviously, a lot of the shows are canceled, but can be placed very differently depending on the day.
So Lori Nagel was just in the senior class. We just heard from Kirby. Now we're going to bring back a lot of those contestants.
First and second from every class. Yeah. We'll come back for a champion now.
Okay. All right, well, I'll let you take that away, Kirby. Bring them all in.
Congratulations in our senior division. Your champion senior showman is Lindy Nagel. Reserve will go to Sophia Woodis. 3rd, Ryan Hamilton. 4th, Tori Hitchcock. And 5th, Haley Roaring. Now in the ring, we're inviting back all of our champion and reserve champion showmen from this morning to compete for your Grand Reserve Overall Showman. Coming out of the Pee Wee division, your champion Pee Wee showman went to Miss Claire Lamb of Oakfield, New York. Reserve champion in the Pee Wee division went to Luke Often. Coming out of the junior division, these showmen are ages 9 to 12 years old. Your champion junior showman went to Miss Chloe Lamb of Oakfield, New York. Reserve champion in your junior division, I believe it's this young lady's birthday today too, Miss Danielle West of Cattaraugus, New York. Coming in the intermediate division, your champion intermediate showman was Miss Maggie Winspear of Oakfield, New York. Reserve champion intermediate showman was Miss Georgia Luft of Elba, New York. And then joining us back in the ring out of your senior division, your champion senior showman went to Miss Lindy Nagel of Clymer, New York. Reserve champion senior showman was Miss Sophia Woodis of DeWittville, New York. If you're standing ringside, if you could put your hands together for all of our showmen here today at the Western New York Youth in Ag Bonanza Dairy Cattle Showmanship this morning.
8 different contestants.
Right. They brought the 2 first and second place, the Pee-wees, back, which is great for the young kids.
Yep.
And they brought the first and second from the junior division, first and second from the intermediates, and first and second from the senior division.
Got it.
Which incidentally both are from Strauchan County, Lindy Nagel and the Woodis girl.
And they're from your region,
Right.
then.
They-
Sophia and
both
Lindsay.
of those have showed at Strauchan County Fair many times, and their families, their parents, and probably Lindy's grandparents have also showed at our county fair.
Well, I'm glad I got a chance there to get into Pat. You know, I didn't time that break properly in my brain, but at least we got a chance to meet him real quick, just
Right.
to go through the whole piece of it, and he just seems like a real nice guy to be out there.
This will be the second call for all dairy steers. We will roll right into our dairy steer show. If we can have you make your way to ringside, followed by the dairy steers, will start right in the Ayrshire division. A reminder to all exhibitors that we are going to rotate breeds by class.
So we found out who the senior was in that quick break with him, and as you said, the 2, 2, 2, and 2.
Yep. Yes, they brought the Pee-wee first and second place back too, which is really great because you see the kids out there, they're kind of head bobbing to the music. The Pee-wees are there. I think they're having a great time, and
I think so too.
Their parents may not think that's the right time for that, but hey, they're in the ring. They're in the finals here, so they've already won.
They made it to the finals.
They already won for the day.
Claire and Luke in the Pee-wee division, Chloe and Danielle in the next class up, Maggie and Georgia, and then Lindsay and Sophia. And as they move over, this is going to be, so we're not going to take a break because I don't want to miss a minute of this,
Right.
because
This
we want to
is
make
the
sure that
big
we
one
get
here.
the big winner.
He's got them lined up from all the way from the Pee-wees all the way up to the seniors. I'm sure he'll make a couple trips around. He's seen him earlier today. I'm sure he's probably got in his mind which way he's going to go here, but he's getting them one last time here to exhibit their animals and look them over again, and he'll make his decision here, and we'll congratulate him.
Yeah, and I did ask him, I said, boy, it seems like you have an encyclopedic mind, and like you said, he's just, well, you get to know the animal, you know?
Well,
You
that's
just
part of the
even-
cattle business. You,
Yeah.
you see a lot of cows, you remember the good ones, and you know, you really wish you could get the great ones, but sometimes they're beyond your reach. But
And it's really, I guess, up to the family to decide which animal comes to the competition, because the animals, they may have dozens, like in the case of the
Well,
lamb
yeah.
family, hundreds of
They have
different animals.
they have
Yeah,
thousands actually.
wow.
But
But how do you make that selection?
well, there's a breeding program, and there's a lot of facts and figures and statistics that they do an excellent job of tracking that, and with their breeding program is pretty intense. I think he's ready to make his
Here
selection.
we are
here.
for our master showmen, our first and second place individuals from their respective divisions. Give them all a round of applause. A tremendous show. All the way from the Pee-wee down to the senior showmanship. I'm not going to waste a lot of time here. I'm going to go select your master showman, reserve, and honorable mention, and I'll give you my reasons afterwards.
Well, John, there's a lot of silence. Attention
Yes.
is.
He's
Everybody's
taking
got
that
their
one
fingers
more look
crossed.
around.
He's just building the drama. He's looking. He's headed up. He's
So
made
the-
his selection.
So that's the master.
He's the man for the day.
Your first and
He's
second
boss.
place intermediate showman will be your master reserve champion here. Very close placings in our class, and I told the two young ladies here that I prefer the master showman, just get our legs just a little bit nicer in line, but two very, very smooth showmen that just never miss a beat. Just a little more ring presence over our honorable mention, but a terrific group all the way down the line. Congratulations.
All right, so there's congratulations.
Congratulations to our overall master showman, going to Miss Maggie Winspear of Oakfield, New York. Reserve master showman will go to Miss Georgia Luft of Alba, New York, and honorable mention to Lindy Nagel of Clymer, New York. Once again, congratulations to all of our showmen this morning at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. We will get ready to roll with our steer show. We'll be looking for Class 1 feeder calves. There'll be 4 entries in this class from Jolene Mesh, Blake Hill, Brianna Cottrell, and Loriana Mesh. Class 2 finished dairy steers, please make your way to ringside. This will be the first call for Class 1, junior heifer calves in the Ayrshire division. Junior heifer calves, please make your way to ringside.
So Maggie Winspear, Larry, is the winner in all of that category, in all that class.
Right, she's the overall champion showman for the day. So that's a great job by her, and congratulations to the whole family.
Yeah. Maybe at some point, as we move through, I'll try to jump in the ring and get a little handle of where we are with the kids just to hear from them in just a little bit. But you've been terrific as a co-host, Larry Brown.
Hey, I'm just following your leads.
Oh.
I just want to say, watch your step if you're going to jump in the ring. Just want to tell you that.
Hey, that isn't always mud, right? It's absolutely.
Well, you got to learn the hard way sometimes.
Yeah.
Life's lessons.
So, Larry, where will we see you next? The Chautauqua County Fair next year?
Well, I hope so if things are on track and the pandemic gets over with. So if not there, I'll definitely be back here again for Erie County Fair.
Great. Well, you've been a great co-host. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to see you in just a little bit. We have a brand new co-host coming up with more show to come from the live stream feed of the Youth and Ag Bonanza. One more thing to say there, Larry? What were you going to say?
Just thanks, John. It's been a pleasure. And I got to give the Erie County Fair staff a big applause for all the work they do and made this happen. It's been awful tough. So kudos to them.
You got it. All right, and we'll see you next time, and we'll see these kids and find out more about their animals. And we come back with our new co-host right after this.
On behalf of all your Western New York dairy farmers, we assure you that our job has not changed. We are still caring for our animals as we do every day, and we are still producing a clean and healthy product that you can feel safe serving to your families. All the dairy products that reach your table are also on our own family table, never touched by human hands, and from the farm to the grocery store within 48 hours, 365 days a year, through calm or chaos. We promise.
Hey, John DeShulo here. We're here with the winners, and let's see. We'll open up your banner. So you're the reserve champion in this category. What's your name?
Georgia Loft.
Georgia, where are you from?
Elba, New York.
And talk to me about your animal.
This animal's name is Sylvia, and she is a winter calf, and I love her very much.
Yes, you do, and you did great. And how old are you?
I'm 16.
16, and you farming in your life. You're excited to do
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I'm going to come over here. Excuse me. And you're the grand champion. You are?
Maggie Winspear.
Of course you're Maggie Winspear. Who is your beautiful animal?
This is my cow Snaps. She's a junior 2-year-old Jersey, and she is a milk cow now. So.
All the animals seemed very, very happy to be here today. Were you happy to be here today?
Yes, I am.
So during all of this, we support you, and congratulations on being the grand champion.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so there they are, the grand champion and the reserve champion here at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza on the fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York. Thank you very much, girls. You're looking good. And as we come back, we're going to be seeing more of the animals that are coming out onto the field, and I'm going to introduce you to my newest co-host as we walk around the showplex here, my good friend Chatham Marcolini. That breeze feels good, doesn't it, Chatham? Yes, it does, from that fan. So I'm going to come over now, and we're going to introduce you in the bullpen. We're coming up, so we go from Larry to Barry. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, John. How are you enjoying the show so far?
I'm doing great. Yeah, just
right.
make sure your mic is on because
I'm on. We're good to roll.
Good. And Barry, tell us about your connection to the Erie County Fair because we've had you on before, particularly with the maternity.
Yes, I am what's called the unofficial voice of the Agricultural Discovery Center. I am here every year with the fair, and I am the voice in the Agricultural Discovery Center when we're birthing calves.
Well, you do a great job with it, and you have tough shoes to fill here. Larry Brown was a really good co-host for the last round, and now you're going to be with me for a couple hours.
Yes, what you saw to begin with was the youth coming in, being judged on how they can show the animal. Now we will turn around and the judge will be judging the animals and not the youth.
So it's a classification of the breed, right?
Right. It's the breed, style, and whatever that they'll be doing. They quickly had some of the dairy steers have already gone through the ring. Now we will start with the actual cattle themselves will be judged. So the judge will be looking at the conformation of the animal. They start with the youngest to the oldest. Birth dates are 3 months apart in each class. The judge will be then judging the animal for its configuration, the width of its body, legs. With the young cattle, he'll be looking to see do they have the bone structure to develop into a very good milk cow that can carry the udder and like that. And then as he gets into the milk cows to see how it all finishes off. So as we go through, you'll hear him as he explains. Before, you heard explanations of what the youth was doing leading the animal. This time he will give his explanations of why he thinks the animal is in what class based on its legs, its width, height, and configuration.
A lot to look for.
A lot to look for, but with this will move along a little quicker because we've seen the judge has already seen about half of the animals because they've been in with the youth and being judged for showmanship, so he already has an eye on the cattle of what he's looking for. So they'll go through. This will move along a lot quicker.
Well, it'll be interesting to see and interesting for you to watch here on the Ustream feed that you're watching or on WBBZ.TV. We'll be back with more from the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza right after this break.
Imagine a world without milk. It would be a tragic, tasteless existence. After all, with no cheese, how would anyone know when to smile? With no milk, why would anyone want to? But there is hope. Your Western New York dairy farmers are committed to providing the most wholesome, delicious milk products possible, returning smiles to tables and order in the universe.
So, everyone's okay with a cow in the house?
Milk for Health. The guys with the cows.
Connect with WBBZ TV, your hometown MeTV station. Channel 67.1 over the air and DirecTV, Channel 5 on cable, Fios, and Dish.
Chill out with some hot classics.
Online at our website, WBBZ.TV, with information about your favorite shows and hometown buzz.
Feeling a little frisky?
Join the conversation at WBBZ TV on Facebook, at WBBZ on Twitter, and check out our YouTube channel with playlists of our hometown programming.
Yes, sir. I'm going to lay around home and just take it easy.
WBBZ on TV and online, your hometown MeTV station. All right, we are back here at the Showplex in Hamburg, New York. Barry Flansburgh is my co-host. John DeShula with you here for the West New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. And Barry, on camera, anybody you want to say hi to? Because we're live now on the Ustream across the globe.
Just hello to everyone in Western New York. We hope you're enjoying this. We're thrilled that you're here to put this on for us. I know the youth work really hard all year long on their projects, and we were just thrilled here at the Erie County Ag Society to be able